And we are live. Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. And y'all know usually I do my opening spiel, but I'm just going to start off by saying Hotep to my fellow Kemetic brothers and sisters in Jumbo, to the rest of the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Y'all know I say that because if you black, I'm with you, and I hope you with me. We can have unity without uniformity. We can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. And our different ideologies shouldn't keep us from uniting. And with that being said, speaking of different ideologies, we are here, the unholy trinity of Pianki, Sabio, and the one and only Black Lion Supreme are here to talk about the hypocrisy and arrogance of some, not all, but some Christians and Hebrews. And we're going to talk about, before we talk about anything else, we're going to talk about academia versus belief. Because lately, as a pushback against some of the information that the quote unquote conscious community has been throwing up and putting out, Bible or Christian apologists, urban apologists, as it were, have been going to academia to combat that. They've been calling the information we put forth and the questions we ask pseudo and nonsensical. Brothers, jump right in. I'm going to step away for just a little bit, but I want y'all to build on why there is no place for belief in academia.
Hotep. Hope everybody's having a pleasant evening. We're just here to build on some things and discuss some issues that occurred that we want to share with the family. So we're going to go in. Sabio, you there?
You know it. You know I'm here.
So,
you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Bro. So let's go in. Let's talk about belief versus academia. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts on belief versus academia. First thing that I learned, and I learned this even at a young age, at a very young age, belief has no place in the classroom. What you believe and you should always, I think people should be able to recall moments when they in their early educational years when they would say something like, well, I believe this, and the teacher would say, well, no, your belief is wrong. This is actually what happened. And then they would show them why and how it happened. Those moments should always be recalled when you're entering these conversations in this level of conversation, because now we're on a level of what? Actual college level scholarship. And we're talking about things that they talk about in universities on a daily basis. And if your belief is going to try to overpower the conversation, then there's no room for you to grow and learn. That's
exactly
why belief has no place in academia to me.
Very well said. The Bible is not based on academics. It's based on faith. This is why it explicitly says over and over again, you have to believe in order to become a part of this kingdom. So in the very definition of being a Christian is faith in Christ. So if you have the most powerful word in the universe, the word of a God, why would you need the wisdom of men to validate your faith? All you need is the Bible. And if you just stick to the Bible, you would never see people like me, people like Sabio, Pianki, and others challenging your beliefs. I would never have a debate or question anyone about their beliefs. If they want to share information about their beliefs, that's fine. We can have a discussion. No problem. But I would never tell that person what you believe is untrue. It's only when you step into the world of academics where there is no room for your faith, there is no room for your belief whatsoever. And it doesn't just mean about a God concept. You can go into a classroom and say you believe that all Germans were evil and played a part in the Holocaust. That's what you believe, and the instructor is going to tell you it doesn't. Your belief is futile. What you believe has no consequence to this subject matter. It's what you can prove and what you can show. And from the information that we have gathered, there is nothing that says or no evidence that every person in Germany played a part in the Holocaust. You might say only Europeans were involved in the Atlantic slave trade, and no African tribes had played any part in it whatsoever. You could believe that, and you go into a history class, and they're going to laugh you out of the building when you bring up your beliefs, because the information and the historical documentation and artifacts and so on says otherwise. So this is what we mean when we say belief has no your worldview, your belief system has no place in the world of academics. It's a completely different institution than a church or a place of worship. It's the criteria is completely different, and the standards are completely different as far as when it comes to coming to a conclusion. So I just want to know and really want to understand those of you who choose to venture in with your beliefs into the world of academia. Why are you doing this? And why isn't the Bible enough for you? Why do you need your beliefs and your faith validated from the wisdom of men, which is foolishness to God according to the Bible? Go ahead, Sabio. Sabio, you there?
Oh,
Well,
my
again,
fault. I'm muted.
oh,
How did
you
I mute
good?
myself?
I don't know. You good though? Go ahead.
Shit, I was finna say, I had a question I was finna ask you, and it was about something that you said.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to remember the question. How I had it worded, and what it was about. Okay, so when they enter the world of academia, wouldn't it be best to try to use your belief to dang, I forgot the question. I have to come back. I forgot the question.
I get what you're saying.
But
Yes, it's
basically,
best to you right on the money. Yes, it's best to use what you believe in, which is the Bible. This is the ultimate truth to a true Christian. They don't need anything else. They don't need the wisdom of men. God speaks on the wisdom of man over and over in the Bible. How futile that it
so
is.
are you there it go. There it go. Are you saying they're weakening their belief by trying to step over into the world of academia?
Yeah, they're exposing how shaky their faith really truly is by trying to be validated by men. God has validated His own self, His own word. His book is its own dictionary. It doesn't need any type of outside interpretation. That's clear, and this is why the Bible says not to add or subtract from this book because it needs no help. It stands alone for itself.
So crossing over into the world of academia, it isn't helping the credibility of their belief or of their faith. It is actually crushing the credibility and crippling it, in other words, because there's nothing to validate much of what they stand on. Is this basically what you're getting at?
Exactly. When I was a Christian, I never needed the wisdom of men to validate the Bible. I could use the scriptures to validate the Bible. I can make every argument that we present towards them today. I heard when I was a Christian, and I can face any of these arguments without ever going outside of the Bible. I don't need any scholars. I have God Himself. I don't need academia. I have biblical evidence that stands alone. It doesn't matter what men say. What matters is what God says to a Christian. Who cares what men say? Men know nothing. God is the supreme wisdom. So why would I ever need anything from the world of academics?
Hmm. So if God is the supreme scholar and Jesus is the supreme disciple, that means those two have all the wisdom in the world. And basically, there's nothing that simple man can do. So our wisdom and what we're talking about is moot to God. So why would the Bible believers or the Bible thump or the people that we talk to, why would they engage in these conversations with us if our words and what we learn is nothing?
Facts. Facts. We can't even explain how a being was able to speak and bring this universe into existence according to the Bible. So how in the world can we understand more than what God understands? Well, this is what the world of academia is telling those who believe in their God. The world of academia contradicts and goes against what you say is truth. So why would you need anything from that particular world to try to validate your faith unless you are questioning the truth of the Bible yourself?
Mm, damn. So is that why they're actually challenging us? They're questioning it. They're questioning the Bible themselves, and they're afraid to ask themselves the hard, deep questions.
It could be fear, it could be a lack of understanding, it could be all of the above. But
Mm,
for sure, it definitely points to their faith because you don't need anything outside of the Bible if you are a true Christian. What else? What are you arguing? Why would you argue? First of all, you're not even supposed to cast pearls upon swine, according to the Bible. That means you're not even supposed to argue with people over the Word of God. If
mm.
people say to you they don't want to hear
You're supposed
your
to dust your feet
sermons,
off at the
then you're
door and
not
keep
supposed to
walking.
force it upon them.
You're supposed to dust your feet off at the door and keep walking, right?
Exactly. But see, people like what they like in the Bible. They pick and choose what they like, and they go and they stand on that. And the parts they don't like, they ignore. That's the problem with a lot of these believers. Not all of them. You have a lot of believers who stand on the Bible, stand on the principles of the Bible, and live accordingly towards those principles. Then you have people who act like they stand for the Bible, but they only pick certain verses and certain scriptures that they really that fits their agenda, and that's about it. But if you really push them to the edge, you'll find out that they really don't believe in the Bible as a whole. If they did, they would live accordingly. Like, what are you doing engaging yourself in certain behaviors and activities that's not Christ like? There's no excuse for it.
Woo!
If you
Go
really
into that.
a child of God, there's no excuse for it. You're not supposed to wallow in sin if you're a child of God. There's supposed to be a difference in your life. So it's not just about reading the Bible or being
So
able
that
to
means you're
quote
supposed
scriptures. It's about a change that's supposed to come upon you that makes you a different and better person, more Christ-like. And if you find yourself still cussing, still arguing, still slandering, and uh, throwing ad hominems at people, then you should question if you're really a true child of God or not.
But what about when they say
whoa.
they coming at the conscious community the way the conscious community comes at them. In other words,
Exactly.
if those in the conscious community start talking to them a particular way and throwing ad hominems, they keep in that same energy, so to speak.
The facts. And why would you do that if you are a new creature in Christ? You're supposed to be above that. That is beneath you. That is for those who have not come into the kingdom. You are supposed to be separate from those type of engagements. Why would you? That's like a Christian still going to the club. What are you doing? Why would you still be going to the club and then going to church on Sunday? That makes no sense. Either you can't serve two masters.
Mm. Good point. Good point.
So are you saying a lot of these people that we have these discussions with, they're Christian on Sundays and Christian on Wednesdays, but the other 5 days out the week, they whatever they need to be to get by?
Right on the money. They want to be a part of the Christian world and in the secular world, and the two don't mix. Because if you want to truly get out your message, you can do so in a peaceful manner, as you should. You don't see Jesus going around Galilee or Jerusalem or anywhere else forcing his opinions or his doctrine on anyone. Those that want to listen come in and listen. He doesn't go into a crowd of people and just start his sermon. He goes and find a private place, and those who follow him that want to listen, he gives his testimony. But these people are coming into our world uninvited, by the way. They're coming into our world giving their sermons that we didn't ask for. It shouldn't matter to them what we're doing if we're not interested in what they have to say. You can't force God on anyone. You have to let them come as they are. It's not that you go to them and you force them into your belief system. That's not how it works. Not biblically, anyway. Go ahead.
Wow. And with that being said, one of the things that I've seen since I've come into this community is I see Christian apologists, and I mostly deal with the quote unquote UA, the urban apologists, right? And I see this weird sort of dichotomy where they use Bart Ehrman to back up the stance that there's an historical Jesus, but then they ignore everything else Bart Ehrman says about a divine Jesus. And it confuses me because they literally lean on Scott, because it's different scholars that believe in the historical Jesus and don't believe in the divine Jesus, and they'll do the same thing with them that they do with Bart Ehrman. Bart Ehrman is just the most notable. But it's like, if you're gonna lean on a scholar, how you gonna deny the rest of his information? I just that always kind of tickles me a little bit, because they'll say, well, even Bart Ehrman says such and such, but then they fail to mention that he says the body was more than likely thrown in a mass grave and devoured by wild dogs. Like that's literally one of his hypothesis about what happened to the body. So why do you think it is they'll dismiss scholars like, and I say scholars, these men are doctors, Dr. Richard Carrier, Dr. Robert Price, people like David Fitzgerald, who wrote the book.
Yeah, a beat, David Fitzgerald. Yeah, I love him, from the Bay Area.
And Jesus, Myth and in Action. Why do you think they'll just dismiss that information, but evoke information from people like Robert Bart Ehrman, but then won't even acknowledge all of Bart Ehrman's positions.
Well, it's what I call their cherry picking system. It's all a part of their cherry picking system. They glean different quotes and different parts of information from here and there, and try to put it together to form some type of defense. But the problem is that those of us who've been into the world of academia for a while now understand that's not the protocol of fact checking. You must do an intensive uh, evaluation of everything that has to be said about the subject matter. You just can't go to here and there and pick and choose what you like and then try to run with it. That's not how it works in the world of scholarship. But when you're just coming in, stepping in, getting your feet wet a little bit, and you're not seriously a student of information, this is the kind of stuff you're going to run into. And, me and Garfield go back and forth on the historical Jesus, and I was trying to tell him that, if this really is confirmed by a lot of people, they try to confirm this. They are never going to believe this is going to confirm that a supernatural Jesus for them. They'll never repeat what people like Bart Ehrman and others have said, that we're not, and what the consensus have said, that we're not talking about a supernatural Jesus. We're talking about a regular person. Well, if that's the case, that kills your whole doctrine. So they can't accept that part, Bianchi. They can't never repeat that part, because in reality, that would kill their whole religion. Because if Jesus is just a regular man and he's not the son of God, then your whole entire belief system is just a made up story by men and have nothing to do with a God. So they can never repeat the information that Bart Ehrman says about this Jesus. They can never repeat the information from the consensus, which was done sometime in the 1920s that I know of. If someone has a more up-to-date consensus on historical Jesus, please let me know. But the last one I've seen was done in the 20s. From the 20s till now, there's been much more information discovered, much more things that we can talk about, much more evidence that's pointing towards there was no Jesus whatsoever. So, like I said, if someone can show me a more up-to-date consensus on the historical Jesus than what I just said, please do so. Go ahead, fam.
One of the things that's come about recently is this defense or apologetic, if you will. And what's up to our brother Sabio in the building? Peace. Hotel, my brother. Uh,
Yeah, you been
uh,
here.
this idea that there were Christians in West Africa, and the reason for this being pushed so hard is because people like yourself, people like me, point out the fact that we were given this belief by our oppressors. It was beaten into us. It was forced upon us. This Eurocentric culture was superimposed on us. That's why you have people like the brother Stephen Swinton saying a name like my name or your name or Jaborio Saze, Shaka Amos, Teddy, uh, Usamer Ma'at Ra, Seneferu are funny names versus his name, Swinton, because we've had this European culture, European names, and Christianity superimposed on us by our oppressor. That's not to say that our people didn't take it and make the most of it, like we do any spiritual tradition, because we are the people who invented spirituality. But I bring that up to say this. You have people like Dr. Vince Bantu and other Christian apologists saying that Christianity was in West Africa, and so we didn't get it from the oppressor. We had it before we got here. But even with there being some minor evidence, because you only see it in like one manuscript, and it's like a Muslim manuscript where Mansa Musa mentions that there are Christians. He don't say whether they African indigenously, whether they Europeans in Africa. he don't really give details. He just say that they Christians. So we don't know a lot about these quote unquote Christians. But my point in bringing it up
Hmm.
is even with that possibly being true, let's take it for what the manuscript says, and I forget the name of the manuscript right now. I'm sure my brother B. Wash has it, but
Hmm.
that being said, there unless can anybody tell me any document, any information where one of our ancestors that got off of those slave ships, those original slave ships, that was saying that they were a Christian?
No,
Like,
not that I know of.
yeah,
Not
and
at
that,
all.
yeah.
I've been looking for a document.
I'm just because let's say there were Christians in West Africa in the Kingdom of Mali, as Mansa Musa apparently said in these documents. Where does
Hmm.
that indicate our ancestors who were taken in slavery being Christians?
There were two kingdoms in West Africa, on somewhat of the outskirts of West Africa, not in the interior, that were Christian, that had become Christian. But this is later on down the line, like the 8th or 9th century CE. So you do have those two, and they became Christian through trade, through encounters with the European. So this is what I always say to people who say that Africans were Christians. I want you, any of you, out of the millions of people that watch YouTube, billions, if you ever click on this show and listen to this show, I want you to do this for me. I want you to show me one African. You don't even have to show me a tribe. Just show me one African practicing Judaism or Christianity before European contact. Just one. Just one. Until you can do that, then this whole discussion is futile to me. It makes no sense because you're saying something that you wish, you're saying something that you hope is true, but none of you can prove it. Not one of you. It has not been proven yet by any of you or any one period. No one has ever shown an African practicing these two particular religions before they were either in contact through trade or war with outsiders. Call them Indo-Europeans, call them Europeans, call them whatever you want to call them, but you can't call them our people.
And yeah, and
You know, you
particularly,
mentioned something earlier.
go ahead, Sabio, my bad.
Yeah, he mentioned something earlier about them becoming Christians and Muslims or whatever along trade. Um, you know, y'all got to pay attention to that because that's important. In order to do what? Get certain goods, to get certain things, to stop from being what? Colonized or kidnapped. Africans had to make pacts with these Europeans, these Asians, these Indo Europeans, in order to keep themselves from being what? Victimized. So y'all think victimization is new? Nah, it isn't. But I didn't want to sidetrack because this isn't really to get off into no things about trade and things like that. It's just to get y'all to get to help y'all get a better understanding of of the trauma that trade has actually played on us. Trade,
Very
the
important point.
idea of what? Trade.
Hmm. And what comes with it. Very important point. I'm glad you brought it up. Go
And
ahead,
what
Pion.
comes with trade? Because what comes with trade is culture, other people's cultures, ideas,
Facts.
stories, conqueror,
Facts.
and things like that. And before you know it, you have African Christians fighting Muslim Christians, and we had the same thing going today. But you know, this ain't about that. This is about the hypocrisy shown by some people who thump the Bible.
And
And the
arrogant.
Facts.
hypocrisy comes in the fact that when the heat is on, when the heat is on, it gets emotional, and we
Mm-hmm.
understand that you're emotionally wrapped in this. Why? Because basically everything that you stand for crumbles. But why would you step into a world where your God said the wisdom of the people that you're speaking to, if we think we smart, well, it's like dirty rags to him. So we not smart to him. So why are you trying to prove you're smart to us?
Facts.
But
Makes no
then
sense.
the counter would be that they have to defend the faith.
What will
The faith
defend it
defends
against?
itself.
Well, yeah, against who? When did that? When did Jesus defend the faith? Show me this. Did he say take up arms and defend? Was he cussing people out if that they didn't believe in his doctrine? I don't remember this in the Bible.
Mm.
And I want to know this to you Christians. Would you speak the way some of you speak? Would you slander the way some of you slander people if Jesus was right in front of you? Would you use the same words? And if the answer is no,
Mm,
then you do know Jesus is right next to you. According to you, he's everywhere.
Mm.
So maybe you should think about that the next time before you run your mouth and say something that is contrary to what you say you believe. And
Uh-oh.
before you start pointing your finger at us,
so
we're not bound by your book. We're not bound by your religion. We can do what we want to do. That's the advantage of those of us who are so-called sinners. We're not bound to your belief system. So we're supposed to act this way according to your God, according to how your God speaks about those who are outside of his kingdom. So why would you come into our world and mimic us when you're supposed to be mimicking Christ? Go ahead, y'all.
what would Jesus do? This is one of them what would Jesus do moments. One of them. You gotta ask them what would Jesus do if Jesus was having these
Exactly.
conversations with us? What would
Well, your
Jesus
mama
do?
is this,
Would
and
Jesus
your brother
resort
is
to
that,
ad
and
hominem?
your wife is got on military boots and all that. Would Jesus be going in and saying all these things that y'all say? And you
Yeah,
can point your
I'm
finger at us all you want to. We're not bound by your God. We're not saved.
Mm,
We're not waiting on the buy and buy. We're not waiting on the sky daddy. We don't
yeah,
have no love for your book.
exactly. I wonder how General Yohana,
we not written down in that book.
right. I wonder how General Yohana was being judged by Yahweh when he called Dr. Ben an agent, knowing that his organization has a 501c3 and is government approved. So if anybody would be an agent, wouldn't it be the person who heads an organization that's sanctioned by the government? Yet you casting aspersions on a master teacher who didn't have an organization sanctioned by the government. So again, we're talking about the hypocrisy and arrogance of some, not all, but some Christians and Hebrews. This man got up on Sinetta Channel and called Dr. Ben an agent. But his organization has a 501c3. Now, for those who don't know, brothers, either one of y'all, nobody in particular, explain what a 501c3 is.
Well, that's a document you get when you are exempt from state taxes and exempt from federal taxes because you are a so-called uh, religious institution.
And so the government, who General Yohana says we are still in slavery to, would issue that document. Am I correct?
Facts, no doubt about it.
So if the government issues you a document where you don't even have to pay taxes. So whatever money you get is your money.
Mm-hmm.
Who would then be beholden to the government? Would it be a man, a self-made, self-published scholar like Dr. Ben, who is banging on the white man and Western religion? Or would it be General Yohana, who has embraced Western civilization and the book that they base Western civilization on, the Bible, the
Well, you know, he
King
just
And the
James
playing the
money
game.
version
that
of
you,
the Bible?
He just playing the
the
game
money
like you
that
gotta
you,
pay it.
exactly, and the money that you receive from that document, that tax break that you get, that is money that's coming out of our pocket, the heathens. So every barbecue or whatever function that you put on, you're using. You don't have any problem taking the money of us that you call heathens. You have no problem using that money for your benefit. Why don't you refuse that money? Why don't you go ahead and pay the tax anyway? And so it could be a holy event that's coming from Hebrews' hands and not the hands of those who's outside of your kingdom. The hypocrisy is too real, too real. You have no problem taking money and selling oils and selling all type of products and taking the money from heathens and using it to take care of your families. But when you dialogue with them, you have no respect. The two don't add up.
How can somebody who is not beholden to the government and bangs against the very people in control of the government be an agent, but somebody who is sanctioned by the government not be an agent? That's my question. And ISUPK St. Louis, you can get the link when we get done and come in and break that down, because I want to know how you can be sanctioned. If a 501c or 501c3 is a sanction by the government. It's a document provided by the government. So if somebody, how can somebody be an agent and not have that, but somebody have that, but not be an agent? I want to know, because apparently Dr. Ben was an agent, but nobody in the ISUPK is, but they got government approval
To be agents.
That don't make
It's cool.
sense.
They got government approval because what? They're a church. They're a religious institution.
Yeah, you can't
They operate as a religious institution. So because they can operate as a religious institution, they get to
I don't
keep the
remember.
money.
I don't
It's not
remember
a
Dr.
problem to
Ben,
them to
Dr.
lie to
Clark,
people.
Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, Amos Wilson, Astra Quest. I don't remember any of these people being given 501c3s, which is a government document provided by the government. The same people who we are enslaved to, apparently. But you say this man is an agent. Based on what? When you are sanctioned by the government, based on that document. So we're gonna give you the link when we get done, because I want to know for real. So, but
There's no explanation for it. All you're gonna do is
Ain't
come
no
up here and make up
explanation.
something.
They're hypocrites. All they're gonna do is come up here and lie
am I am I I
and
just want
try
to
to
know if
make
I'm
us look
bugging.
like we don't know what we're talking about. And all we're talking about is the facts. All we're talking about is that you guys, number one, misrepresents information. You guys call people agents, and really you are working for the government. You are paid, you are not taxed by the government. You get a tax write-off from the government. Like,
Yeah,
and then it's even, and then they even throw salt on the wound. On the wound, you are actually telling other people who have been traumatized by this religion that this book written by ancient vagabonds, landless vagabonds who were always getting their butts kicked wherever they went because they were trifling, that this book is about them.
Yeah, and make no mistake, we not saying that y'all agents. Literally, we ain't saying that. We don't believe that. But what I'm asking is, if you can put your mouth on Dr. Ben and say he an agent, you got to explain how you got government approval and you ain't one. That's
And
what
when you
I'm
bring
saying.
that term up and point your finger and accuse us of being agents, when you are pushing the very book that was handed to our people by slave masters, are you kidding me?
Yeah. So
No
don't
Africans handed you the Bible. No
right.
one black handed you the Bible. The Bible was handed to you on a plantation. Are you serious? So if anyone is an agent, if we're going to talk about that
That's all I'm
subject,
saying.
how can you explain that?
You can't
You're
you
giving us
can't
some
claim.
propaganda. Go
Go ahead,
ahead,
Black
Piano.
Line.
No,
Go ahead.
you're giving us the propaganda that the slave masters gave our ancestors when they told them that this place is not for them, that their glory was to be in heaven. That's what slave masters used to tell our people. That you're on earth, you're to be a slave, but you'll get your peace and you'll get your reward when you go to heaven.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
what they said,
Hey,
and you're
but
doing
Black
the same
Line,
thing. So let's talk about being an agent. Go ahead.
they ain't say they was gonna be free in heaven. But check it out. My brother nobody say who wouldn't want a tax write-off. And he's correct.
Oh
Everybody would want
man.
to look, check it out. Everybody wants a tax write-off, but not everybody is
He's
claiming
right. I don't
that
disagree
Dr.
with him.
Ben was an agent. So again,
And
if
what you need a
Dr.
tax write-off
Ben,
for? You got the Almighty God Himself.
not
Why
only that,
isn't God giving you a damn tax write-off?
not only that,
Right.
if Dr. Ben is an agent and he didn't have this
Oh, it is
document
by God.
from the
It is.
government,
It is by the grace of
what
God.
are you if you have it? That's my point. If you have a document from the government saying you ain't got to pay taxes, that means you are a government sanctioned nonprofit organization. You got government approval to do what you do. Yet, the leader of your organization said Dr. Ben was an agent. Based on what? Because you the one that's sanctioned by the government. Period. Ain't no but, if and buts, maybes about it. So if Dr. Ben an agent, I would only have to come to the conclusion that you are too. Period. But you're gonna get the link and you're gonna be able to explain how Dr. Ben can be when he ain't government approved with a 501c3, but you is. But let's talk about our Christian brothers and sisters, because this whole polite thing had a lot of people gassed up. And I seen comments like these
Yo,
hotel.
We don't. Yo, when he say Christian, he mean the whole diaspora. So if you call yourself a Hebrew, you still a Christian. You just dressed up funny.
Yeah, check it out. Again, I needed the government approval to start my business. I ain't never called nobody no agent either. I ain't never called nobody no agent. I ain't never said I wouldn't know. I'm this banging against this government. I'm enslaved by this government, and this individual is an agent and shouldn't be listened to, but I should be listened to. Yet I'm going to the very people who supposedly has me enslaved to get a stamp of approval for my organization. So don't put it on me. I'm saying if Dr. Ben is an agent, brother, and he didn't do what your leader did for your organization, does that make your leader an agent? Because Dr. Ben didn't go to the government to get approval for nothing. Your leader did. So explain to me how Dr. Ben an agent and your leader ain't. And you're going to get your opportunity to do so. That said, let's talk about our Christian brothers and sisters and our Hebrew brothers and sisters on this subject of polite. Because when polite got accused of molesting a 14-year-old girl, people jumped out the window and said, this is an indictment on y'all whole community. But when I look around, I see so-called Hebrews who've been accused of the same. Like, it's a Hebrew in jail, plenty of them, for the exact same crime. Now, I could care less about polite. I personally, I'm saying this, y'all, this ain't got nothing to do with Black Lion Supreme or Sabio. Based on what the information I've got, and if he's proven innocent and it bears out that he didn't do it, I retract my statement and apologize. But until then, I think he did it, and he should be under the jail. If he violated a 14-year-old child, that's what it is with me, period. So it ain't about him. It's about the fact that you want to associate everybody in a particular community with him, because you're not going to let us do it to y'all. So if I talk about a brother in the ISUPK that's in jail for molesting a child, oh, he's innocent. If I talk about a Christian pastor who molested boys and girls, they ain't got nothing to do with us. Yet what this man is accused of somehow blows back on what all of us did. Let's talk about it, brothers.
It's their lack of information that has them resorting to all type of tactics. If you have the truth on your side, if you really truly believe in the information that you speak of, then why would you need to stoop to such levels? You are the last people on earth to point your finger at someone. You have a long history of rapists in your set. That's just a fact. I'm not making it up. You have murderers, killers, rapists, molesters all through the history of your keep it 100. The conscious community has not been around as long as yours. Not even close. So you are the last people on earth to ever criticize the conscious community. You need to clean up your own backyard before you start speaking about others.
Go ahead, Sabio.
Yo, it's crazy because we just had a couple incidents similar to the polite incident, and I brought them up in a couple of back chats. I posted the incidents. One of them was of Ron Jeremy, the porn star Ron Jeremy, but he's a Pentecostal. He's a Pentecost. He believes in God. He's a believer in God, and he wasn't drugged through the mud. He wasn't vilified. And then I brought up this black pastor last week before last, I think it was, and the charges was exactly the same as Polite's 14-year-old child. No Christian, no one decided that it was what all right to drag him and vilify him and give him the same treatment that Polite got. And I said something in the chat because I was having a conversation with somebody, and I said, see, this is what happens. He's going to pray and ask God for forgiveness, and he's going to be forgiven. And once God forgives him, he's going to go and he's going to pray and ask his congregation for forgiveness. And he's going to say, in my moment of weakness, I committed an act that was outside of my nature. I am a man, and we all have those weak moments. Yada, yada, yada. Pray for your pastor. I'm going through a trying time. Mrs. Yada Yada is with me. My daughter's with me. I need y'all to pray for your pastor that he beats this trying time. And the whole church will forgive him. Why? Because it's godly and it's the thing to do.
Facts. No doubt
Go
about it.
ahead,
And he's gonna
Blackline.
say, he's gonna say, I had a vision, and the Lord came down and he said I was forgiven. And then who are you to say that you don't forgive me if God forgives me? He's gonna use all that type of rhetoric.
The Lord said I was forgiven.
And let me
The
say this.
Lord said I was forgiven.
I second what Pianki said about polite.
When the Lord said he was
If he's guilty, he needs to be put under the jail. Period. No doubt about
I
it.
do too. I under the jail.
And that's all it is to it. But see,
That don't
we
I
get
don't think that
people
needs to
who,
be said though, you know,
yeah,
because
it shouldn't have
we've
to be
already said
said.
that numerous times.
Yeah, it shouldn't have to be said, but apparently it do, because all of a sudden they got what they think is a big fish that represent an entire group or community of people. So they want to indict a whole group of people. But we got a brother that's a quote unquote Hebrew Israelite, or he think he is, named Nasi Yashavel, who was accused of the same thing Polite was on multiple fronts. But nobody said, oh, all y'all must be in this same light. Y'all whole
Yeah,
community
that's his
messed
name,
up.
Nasi Yashavel.
No, who came out and said this is an indictment on y'all whole community? But only religious people do shit like that. Because I don't remember when this brother was accused like 3 times of molesting his stepchildren and other children. Did anybody from our community, as they call it, come out and say, damn, this must be how all y'all get down? Like who did that? Because I don't remember it. Because that's one person. But when one person that shares a particular ideology on some fronts from our community does something, they want to pounce on it and make it about all of us. It's the most
Exactly.
retarded
They have
thing.
nothing else. They have nothing. They can't challenge us scholastically. They can't challenge our information. So what do? They run the slander. They're like rats on a sinking ship with no hope. So they gasping at the last breath, and that's
Yeah,
how it is.
it's crazy to me, bro. It's like you can't tell the difference between what one man did and what a whole community does, but you want to indict everybody that maybe ever had an association with them, or maybe that said something similar. What are you talking about? Or like, look, my brother say I can hundreds of videos of people from the conscious community group in all Christians. So you as a Christian, because another group, let's say what you say is true, but you as a Christian, you gonna return the favor even if it ain't true? That's what Jesus would do? What? Come on, man. Like y'all fucked
Hypocrisy.
up.
The hypocrisy is too real.
And then he say, y'all started it like we on the playground. Y'all started it. What? We talking about pedophilia.
Right.
And he say, y'all started it.
So let me say something. Right.
Go ahead, Sabio.
Y'all, man. The asininity in these arguments, bro. I'm just sitting here. I want to say something. You right. I don't know that man who molested that girl. You are absolutely right. But I'm going off of the experiences that I've seen in the church when pastors have done things outside of their character. I've been in churches where pastors have had affairs, where they slept with parishioners, other women in the church, and they've gotten up in front of the church and said exactly what I just said. Said the exact same prayer. The exact same thing. The Lord is. I asked for the God to forgive me, and He forgive me. So I'm asking the congregation to forgive me for my moment of weakness. So I'm just going off of experience.
So
And I
what?
know
You don't know
you've
that
seen
man.
the experiences and you've heard of experiences. But what you
The one who said that don't know
right.
polite.
But that
Bet you
doesn't,
have a
and
whole
I
lot to
don't
say
know
about it
polite
though.
either. I've never had one conversation with polite in my life. You had a whole lot to say about polite though. Nobody had a whole shitload to say about polite. I
In
don't know
reference
polite.
to
I
us.
didn't. I didn't know
You
one
don't have to
thing
know the man to know
about
that
polite. I seen him on
raping a
YouTube,
child is
and the only
wrong.
thing I rock with him with was God is fake. So,
Yeah,
but
but see,
y'all gotta
we we
understand.
we can't say
When
that.
people y'all what y'all, and it seemed like y'all it seemed like they think we just left this religion last night or last month or last year. Like, they don't understand that we didn't leave these religions out of anger. We left these religions out of curiosity. That's why I left. I was curious. When the pastor stood in front of the whole congregation and said that Jesus and God was one and the same, and I read in the Bible where Jesus said, "I am the he is God and I'm the Son," and he separated the two. And who was Jesus talking to when he said Sabatini, Sabatini, Eloi, Eloi, all that on the cross? He couldn't have been talking to himself. Pastor, you lied. I need to find out the truth for myself. So it wasn't out of anger. It was because the pastor in the church I was going to, Central Baptist Church, and I know you're aware of that church, aren't you, Pianki?
Yes, sir.
Dred Scott Church, yeah.
Mhm.
That Robert Charles Scott said that on the pulpit in front of the whole congregation, bro.
Wow.
He's no longer the pastor of that church after he said that. He's down in North Carolina.
Okay.
So he slipped up and made a mistake. And they called him and they did what? They moved him to a different church. But these the games that we're supposed to play with ourselves mentally. And we're supposed to continue to accept the abuse. That's what it actually is. It's psychological abuse. The
Mm-hmm.
church has been an abusive spouse, an abusive partner to black people. And some of us have fell in love with the abuse because it lessens the abuse that we actually take from the rest of the world. If that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense. Because, like, look, we keep on, it's just like this dude studying here talking about we follow polite. Who said we follow polite? I don't even know the man.
Man,
Y'all made the equivalent of
I
the
don't even
the
know the
entire
man.
community to polite. But I guess you follow Bishop Eddie Long. So I guess you like little boys.
Exactly. You follow Queffo Dollar, a pimp, a dogma pimp that pimping black people out of their money. That's who you follow. You follow Jakes, another
Yeah.
dogma pimp.
I guess you follow
Man,
I guess you follow Robbie Zacharias, the rapist.
Mm-hmm. Or
Cause
mm,
what's
y'all
his name? Abba Bivens,
yeah, like what are we talking about? Like
the
don't
rapist. So get up out of here with all that. And still, no matter
right.
what Polite's accused of, he hasn't been
And hold
convicted
on.
of nothing. And there are those of you who have been convicted, and you still follow these people.
still talking about what he said about
Eh,
Jesus was true. Prove I follow polite.
Exactly. If you want to have a conversation about polite and his information, why don't you refute one word he said about the Bible? I dare you. I dare you to get up here and refute one word he said about the Bible, no matter what he's accused of.
Go in my YouTube history and show that I've ever said, echoed anything polite said, except that your God ain't real, and that ain't got
But
nothing
you
to do
won't.
with polite.
You won't deal with that. You want to
Man,
deal with this
that's the only
molesting
thing
stuff
that I've
and try to
echoed that
put it
polite
all
said.
on everybody else. But you won't deal with his information, though.
Right.
You won't touch that. None of you will come up here and say one word about his information is incorrect, because you
come
can't.
on, bro. Come on, man. But like I say, if we follow polite, then I guess you follow Ravi Zacharias, and you a rapist like he was. I guess you, but I mean he did. So is Bishop Eddie Long.
Man, they
So
follow
like,
all these apologists.
yeah, you
They
can't,
follow all these
bro.
apologists as long
You
as they're
can't
against the
do it.
Bible.
You can't do it. But that's the
against us.
arrogance
As long as they're
and the
against us.
hypocrisy of this religion, because it's the end all be all. Every other spiritual concept, ideology, belief that's contrary to it is wrong. That's why the 42 negative confessions is witchcraft.
It's wrong.
But the 10 commandments, which say the same thing that the 42 say,
the Bible isn't witchcraft.
Is right and exact, because this
man turning water into wine, that's not witchcraft. A man walking on water is not witchcraft. You got a real witch in your Bible, of a witch of Endor.
Look, he said, they crack me up with this. Look, they crack me up with this. My man say the church has done more for everybody on that panel than any organization that they are part of. And they
you out of your
should.
mind. You are out of your complete mind.
Hold on,
that's
Black
in your
Lion.
limited world.
Check this out. Black
You're
Lion.
out of your mind.
Let's be clear. They should. They ain't paying no taxes. So they should. And they've been around since for 2,000 years. So why shouldn't they?
Until the church.
And they've taken way more than they have given. So they've taken way more than they have given.
The church,
they should. They got the money.
Yo, check this out. Until them churches that make $1 million every Sunday, every church makes about $1 million, except for the small ones. The mega churches make about $1 million on Sunday, and taxes and tithes and donations about $1 million. So until y'all take those $1 million, and for at least a year, pay the rent of every last one of your parishioners. Pay the rent, the gas, the light.
Come on, man.
And their grocery bills for a year. Don't say the church ain't did the church did shit for me, because all it did was give me. The church kept me looking at the sky.
Right.
Hold on, I got
the
a
church.
poem.
The church getting a right.
I'm gonna read when we end this by Amiri Baraka. The church getting a write off, but the church did something for me. What it did kept me turned to the sky, kept me gave me a safe place to go.
Look, bro, you my
Polite
little bro.
Was the young phenom. Everybody was bigging him up, thumbing him up.
Right. And check this out. You my little bro. And I call you. Hold on, Sabio. Let me say this, and then I'm gonna let you rock, because I want to be clear. You my little bro. You my little bro. My man's. You in Texas, and I'm in St. Louis. And if you need me to come to Texas to help you with whatever, I'll be there. But if I find out you molested a little girl, you can't be around me ever. So what do what you just said mean? I big you up, and I love you like a brother. And if I find out you've been inside of a young girl and you knew she was a young girl, she ain't lie about her age, you straight molested her, I'm done with you. Period. What we talking about? Go ahead, Sabio.
So all this about what you put up there about us rocking with Polite, all that what you just put up there about him talking about we were thumbing Polite up and all that, he's intelligent. Look, only thing Polite ever said to me that I thought was intelligent and I rocked with was God ain't real. God is not real. All the rest of it, I took with a grain of salt. Why? Because I recognized he talked with a double tongue. That's just me. I have the ear to listen to things and catch things that a lot of people don't. Now, that's all I have to say on that. But all this other stuff, the hypocrisy that y'all show on a daily basis and y'all try to cover it up, it's sad. You know,
They're
I
doing it
tried to
right now,
dumb down
bringing up polite.
atheism with wordplay today.
What's polite got to do with your hypocrisy? What's polite
They
have to
tried to
do
dumb down
with your
atheism with
with
wordplay.
you with
Right, what
you
right.
leaning on academics instead of your faith? How come you don't address that? Go ahead, Sabio.
I mean, we were talking about we were talking about child molestation. So that's what polite has to do with that. He's brought up on those charges. And we understand that. But why are we not talking about the pastor who I just brought up, who was more recent than polite? Is it because he's not famous? Oh, yes. Remember, you did say that. Remember, you said that because he is not famous is the reason he doesn't get as much flack as polite. Like, no. If it's a sin and it's against a child, there is no discrimination. There is no he gets a pass because he's not famous. What?
Bro, come on, man.
He's
Listen.
a child molester and he's a pastor. Come on, bro.
Like
If a
he
pastor can get off, can get from Christians, can get a pass from Christians for molesting a child, but a person who isn't a Christian can't get a pass.
check it out.
That shows nothing but
Hey,
hypocrisy.
Pure
bro.
Black just did grand opening and grand closing. Polite think 5G tower started COVID. Nobody thinks he's intelligent. Like
Shots.
stop trying to put us in that bag,
Shots.
man. Like that shit
Shots.
is hella offensive.
The man did a whole show, a whole debate on
Like I'm
5G.
gonna start putting you in the same bag as that one weird looking preacher that say he saw God, David E. Taylor. Like, bro, stop. Get out of here, man.
They have nothing else, Bianchi. Nothing else. They can't refute the information, so they have to play these kind of games.
Yeah.
Very, very Christian-like, typical Christian behavior.
And you see how touched people get, man. Like, what, bro? What you in your bag for? What you in your feelings for?
According to your Bible, you're supposed to forgive polite. You're supposed to be praying for polite right now.
70 times.
According to your Bible, why aren't you praying for polite instead of criticizing him or having something to say about his case that hasn't been adjudicated yet? Why aren't you praying for him like your God told you to? Do what your God told you to do and have mercy.
Hey, check it out. I'm sure he do pray for polite because me and my brother had a conversation a while ago, and I asked him if a child molester or rapist asked for forgiveness, asked to and accepted Jesus Christ as his personal Lord and Savior, would he be comfortable being in heaven with it? It's on the channel. It's one of our discussions on the channel. And little bro said, yeah, he would.
Wow.
Because God forgave him and he gave his life to Christ, etc. So he shouldn't even have no problem with polite.
So basically, what I was just saying about what? The pastor praying and asking God to forgive him for molesting that child. The pastor's already done that, right? And he's been forgiven. I didn't make this up. I'm just going off the Bible.
Even if he's not a child of God and he's into Satanism, You're still supposed to pray that he comes out of that and pray for his well being as a Christian. How can you pray for the man in one breath and then criticize him in another? That makes no sense. You're playing both sides of the fence. Either you're a Christian and you're going to do it the way that Yahweh told you to do it, or you're going to use your own emotions and your own interpretations and step outside it at what he says and follow your own logic,
Yeah,
which is
bottom
what
line.
people should be doing in the first place. So you guys are more of the heathen than we are. We're just not afraid to stand up for what we believe in and be clear about it. But you are. You want to play both sides of the fence. You want to play like you're holy on one side, and then come with the hatchets and the machetes on the other side.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, we'll give so-called Christian apologists they props, they respect, but you see when it come down to it, information that we provide is summarily dismissed, regardless of where we got it, regardless of what we say. Oh, that's been debunked. Scholarship this, scholarship that. Like, first of all, what are you even talking about scholarship for when you in the Bible? You in a book, you believe in a book. You believe a book is literal that has a talking snake and a talking donkey. And then you want to turn around and talk to me about scholarship and academia and what's been
Let's
debunked.
talk about witchcraft. Go ahead.
You hear me? Like you got a witch talking to a ghost in your book. And then you want to turn around and talk to me about scholarship. Like, it's the most confusing of conversations that you could possibly have, but we still give respect. Like, hey, I've never met anybody in my life that I respect more when it comes to knowledge about Africa, Christianity, the Bible, history, than my brother B. Wash. That brother is thorough. If you've ever had a conversation with him, you know what I'm talking. He a young brother. He only like 31, and he thorough. And I give him the utmost props. And he one of the most respectable brothers you ever gonna find. And he genuinely has a love for his people, and he does work in his community every Saturday. He putting in work, clothing people, empowering people, feeding people, teaching people about economics. He putting in work, and he a Christian. So this ain't no anti-Christian thing. That's why I said some Christians and Hebrews. I give the ISUPK they props for what they do in the community with their food drives, their clothing drives, etc. But when you say somebody an agent and you got sanctioned and you sanctioned by the government, how do that work? So these are the things that we got to deal with. So I just, the hypocrisy is kind of crazy, and the arrogance is even crazier because again, you can call the 42 laws of Ma'at witchcraft when all it's saying is I have not robbed, I have not lied, etc. But the 10 commandments and these 600 whatever laws is legit because of your God.
And your main character is going around casting out demons and all kind of sorcery, but you don't call that witchcraft. This is crazy. You want to put that? You want to call that a miracle? It's a spell. It's casting spells, just like you say in Kemet. And the only reason why you saying that is because you heard that from Europeans. You never heard a person from Kemet or even an African call what was going on in Kemet witchcraft or even spells. Who calls it spells? Egyptologists, not Africans. You are the Europeans' biggest weapon and don't even know it.
That's why I said the brother Stephen Swinton is a Negro pen because Africa and African concepts or to be laughed at and to be called witchcraft. But he embraces Western culture and European names. And he don't even see the problem with that. So from that standpoint, it's almost like a lost cause. We got so-called Black Hebrew Israelites saying King James was black, Constantine was black, walking around with a King James Bible, but saying we ain't African.
Constantine black.
Come on, man. Like,
Come on, man.
Yeah, it is ahistorical, illogical, erroneous, and it's damn near retarded. Like, like, bro, where do you get this shit from?
Where could you come up with that shit from? Constantine, bro.
Like these like the white man is your God, man, because you didn't gave the white man so much power that historically attested to people have now been transformed from black to white and vice versa. Mm-hmm. That's how much power you done gave the white man. The dark ages ain't the period where the Roman Empire ended up into the medieval period. It's now a period where Black Hebrews rule Europe.
Mm-hmm. You give the white man so much power, fam. You are so right.
So much power. He ain't the devil that your Bible speak of. He is your God.
He wrote your history.
It ain't that much whitewashing history in the world, my G, for a Roman.
And you repeat everything he say. Damn, you repeat every damn thing. Oh, it was spells and chemistry. That's what the white man says. What's wrong with y'all, man? It's a white homosexual that put homosexual.
We lost you, Black Line.
Uh-oh.
Did you fall off?
I don't know. BLS. Look like there's some troubles.
Yeah, he might have fell off for a minute. We'll get him back. But yeah, like Constantine was black, bro. King James was black. King James was a homo. He was a European homo. And you claiming this dude. Because they both had something to do with the Bible, so they must be black. Like this is crazy. Native Americans, them 5 civilized tribes. Yeah, he dropped off, so we'll get him back. Them 5 civilized tribes, even though I proved it with their own words, with historical evidence, they owned black people. And yet they telling me it didn't happen. They said they admitted it happened. But they saying it didn't happen because they talking about Native Americans as Hebrews.
Man.
Like, bro, this, man. This shit is bananas, yo.
But it's the hypocrisy. It's because what? They need to be right.
I don't understand, man.
So
I don't. You can't. Like, how do you argue with somebody who say a white man? We got portraits. We got portraits that he posed for. We got portraits that his son posed for, that his wife posed for, his mother, his father posed for these portraits that was painted.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you say he black, so he must be. Like every other shred of historical evidence has been corrupted by your God, the white man.
Man.
Like, bro. To what? Like, somebody got to explain to me if this man was black, What do the white man have to gain by saying he was white? Because he ain't do shit. He did nothing. No, nobody even stands on that interpretation of the Bible. They got a whole apologetic against the King James version of the Bible. This man established a company for the transportation of slavery. And they telling me that he was a black man.
That he was a black man.
And then they say he didn't establish that company. No, his brother established it. And he backed him financially.
Yep.
And you saying he didn't do it? Like, it's plain as day. The Royal African Company. What the hell are you talking about? And they transported slaves from West Africa.
They need to be right.
They
need to be right, bro.
This company transported more slaves to the American colonies than any other shipping company.
Yep.
And he was an owner. That family was an owner of the company. And they say, no, it wouldn't. What are you talking about?
I'm telling you what it is, bro. It's gotten to the point they need to be right. So that's why King James, if King James is black, then that what minimizes the impact of slavery, and it gives some type of credence to them what being Hebrews. It strengthens the story. So this is where the hypocrisy comes in.
Man.
That's why that's why the book needs to be what you looked at as a piece of ancient literature, and that's it. Because that's all it is. It's a piece of ancient literature.
Yeah, bro. Like it's documented that this man was a homosexual. Why is you even claiming this dude? Oh, they was lying. Again, the white man is your God. You didn't gave them that white man so much power over you, man. Like he got the power to literally change the identity of people in history. Next thing you know, you're gonna let a white man tell you my namesake Bianchi was a European.
But look,
that's how much power they got. That's how much faith they got in what the white man.
The white man has so much power over them that he literally drives a wedge. That this belief system literally drives a wedge between who? Black people.
Facts. But help me out, bro. So the Mayans, the Aztecs, and the indigenous people from Mexico to Central America to South America, they weren't already over here. Who did the Spanish conquistadors come over here and murder and slaughter and ultimately colonize if those people weren't already here? And why were they practicing those spiritual concepts that they was practicing if they were Hebrews? Because that's what they say. Those people were Hebrews. Native Americans, Hispanics, etc. were Hebrews. So when did they come over here? Because their history say they've been over here. I'm like they whole history confused the shit out of me.
It confuses the shit out of me because it's made up. It's a made up history to give credence to their try to co-opt this identity. They are the modern day culture vultures. If you remember, maybe about 10, 15 years ago, we were calling white people culture vultures. Y'all remember that?
No doubt.
So what has happened? It's switched. It's flipped. This Israelite culture, this Israelite identity has become so prominent, and this book has has done such a job of working its effectiveness and its spells of of disillusionment that people are now our people are now culture vultures. We are now stealing the culture. We are now trying to take on the culture of the. We are
BLS
trying
must
to
have
be
a bad
ancient
signal, man. He didn't
Canaanites.
dropped off. He didn't dropped off a few times now.
Yeah,
He
he
must have a
must be
bad
going
signal.
through a weak spot or something.
Yeah.
We are
But
now
yeah,
going to be these ancient Canaanites. Canaanites. You on mute?
my bad. Paula McNutt, PhD scholar in
Mm-hmm.
biblical studies and Israelite history. She breaks it down. She said it was a group of Canaanites that no longer wanted to follow those practices and broke off.
And broke off.
They the same people.
They the same people.
The Bible is just an indictment on their old culture.
Mm.
That's it. They ain't special.
They not special.
Like, come on, man. And so it always bugged me out that we get black people who, again, they want to put down African cultures and African concepts like Vodun, Orisha, Yoruba, Ifa, the Kemetic tradition, the Zulu tradition, all of these different African concepts and cultures
To run to the Levant,
to run to
the
the
Middle
Levant.
East.
They want to defend things that took place in this narrative like it's them. Like, who cares? What like bro, David goes to marry Saul's daughter. He goes and gets, I think Saul asked for 100 foreskins. I don't know what the fascination is with the skin off a man's penis, but I think Saul asked for like 100. David
He brought them all back.
Right.
He
And
took out all them foreskins off of people.
And we like that's what we run into and bigging up. It's like I just don't understand it, man. And we talk about it, but see, we learn about these people every day and on Sunday. We hear about Adam and Eve, and Cain and Abel, and Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Joseph, and all of these people that ain't got a damn thing to do with us. And so even when you can't even really blame our Hebrew brothers, because when they get disenchanted with church, and then they get this dude on the corner talking about what's your nationality, and they say, I'm a whatever. No, brother, you the people in the book. Well, they've been hearing about these people in this book all their life. Now somebody telling them that's you, bro.
Right.
They cleave to it. They
appeal
like,
to emotion.
Oh snap! Wait a minute. I'm in the tribe.
Emotion and ignorance.
I'm in the tribe. I'm the chosen people. Oh, bro. So I get it. Like, because if I was younger, if I was in my late teens, early 20s, and I'm a believer, but I'm walking around, as they say, church hurt or just disenchanted for whatever reason.
Right.
And they
and
catch
I heard
me.
that shit.
They catch me talking about you, the tribe of Judah, you the people that this book talking about. I probably would have jumped on it too.
Yeah, they sure would have got me.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was a little bit more academically trained, and I was a little more biblically trained, though, and that was big, that I had actually knew who these people were before I came into this community. I knew that these people weren't us. I knew that these Israelites were Canaanites, because what? That's what the book says. So you can't take it out. You can't change it. It says that these people come from the land of Canaan. You can't take you so you can't make the land of Canaan nothing else. You can't take it from where it is and try to place it somewhere else. You have to leave it in that area. And that right there, that
Hmm.
would have been a I think a barrier for me. Me knowing that piece of information. Now, had they been sophisticated enough to make Canaan some type of Africa, then they probably could have got me if they were sophisticated enough. But
Hmm.
you really have to, but that comes from what? Growing, living in the house with a person, with a mother who actually went to Bible college. You know, she actually
Hmm.
went to Bible college and got her divinity degree. She went to St. Louis
And,
Bible College.
and how do you come out of it? With information. That's why knowledge is so important. That's why I always say knowledge is the key to our salvation. Our real salvation as a people. Not some spooky salvation from a book, but the salvation of doing better as a people.
Mm.
That's what we should be striving for. Not none of this nonsense of supernatural this and outside of reality concepts. We live on planet Earth. We live in a reality every single day of being under Greco-Roman rule. This is what we face every day, and that's what we should be th- learning how to combat. Not trying to search for something from a culture that had nothing to do with our people whatsoever. And isn't it funny how you guys like to bring up historical Jesus and say Bart Ehrman said this and Bart Ehrman said that, but why don't you bring up the consensus on Abraham and Moses, where scholarship says that they never walked this earth? Why
Mm.
don't you repeat that information?
Because because if they repeat that, that'll show their hypocrisy and their bias.
Facts.
And let me ask you this: is Jesus a descendant of Abraham and all them?
From a spiritual sense, not a bloodline sense, but from a spiritual sense. Like he's supposed to be a descendant of David, but it's spiritual. It's not physical. Go ahead.
Well, they all would be descended from Abraham, wouldn't they? Because Abraham is
Is the
Jacob's grandfather,
progenitor of
right?
the right
Right.
of them all?
Yeah, but Abraham, Jesus doesn't come out. See, they can't say that because
Because
then
Jesus
Jesus would
doesn't.
have a
Jesus,
father.
he would have
Well,
to
a
have an
blood.
earthly
Yeah,
father, right?
exactly.
Oh, you're right.
Uh-huh.
You're right. Well,
Hmm.
well, wouldn't Mary still be an Israelite though?
Yeah, Mary's an Israelite. She would be an Israelite, but I'm not sure if that lineage. I don't believe. I know that they have this spiritual connection, and I think it's between Abraham. I know it's between David and Jesus, and I think it goes with Abraham too, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that it goes with Abraham to this spiritual lineage because I don't think that Mary is connected to Abraham. I'm not sure about that though.
No, I don't
Gotcha.
think she is either. I didn't think she was either. I was just
But if
asking
you
if Jesus
remember
was.
though, if you an Israelite, you connected to Abraham automatically because
Yeah,
again,
of course.
yeah.
Spiritually, yeah,
No,
spiritually.
I mean from a natural sense
Oh, you
because
mean from a bloodline? From the bloodline?
yeah,
No, we gonna have to. I got to refresh my memory on that. You could be right, Pianki.
right.
I'm not
Because
sure.
he was Isaac's father, and Isaac is Jacob's father.
Yeah, and they be gotten this, they be gotten that. You could be correct on that. I'm gonna have to double check. But go ahead.
Abraham begot a lot of children. That's all I'm gonna say on that dude. Abraham was knocking wood. So Byron Washington said Mary is from the tribe of Judah. So she will be a descendant of Abraham. Well,
Yeah,
but you
now,
know,
No,
I just
because
told,
Judah and Israel is two different places.
yep.
So if she's a descendant of from Judah, then she wouldn't be. I don't think she would be connected to Abraham because Abraham is in Israel.
Yeah, I just told B Wash in the chat he missed it. I just gave him props. He came in too late. But yeah, as far as I know, if you an Israelite, you automatically have your lineage with Abraham because of Isaac.
No doubt.
That's why they say the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So,
but remember, you're an Israelite now from the circumcision of the heart, not the physical circumcision that you would go under to become a Jew. So that means anyone can be from that lineage. And I know that's how it is between David and Jesus. I'm sure about that. They're not blood related.
Well, wouldn't Mary be so from the Hebrew doctrine, Joseph is Jesus' natural father.
His adopted,
right.
adopted
there
father.
There was no virgin birth, and he's adopted by the Most High. From the Christian standpoint, there was an immaculate conception, but he still has his lineage to David through his mother. If I'm not mistaken, and any other Christians in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
but
me too.
Tell you that that's confusing right there, because when they do the lineage, it only mentions Joseph.
Now I'll be able to figure out who's actually right about this once we get over here. But I'm pretty sure that Jesus is not in David's bloodline. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah, see, I thought in order for him to be the Messiah, he gotta be through David's bloodline. Like literally, it has to be. That's why the whole lineage is mentioned. Such and such begot such, and so on and so forth. That's the whole point of that, to let you know this is the legitimate son of David.
Yeah, it's a story behind that and why it is the way it is. I can't remember for the life of me right now.
Yeah, he has to be from David though.
Because you guys could be completely right, and I could be dead wrong.
From David, Black Lion Supreme. He has to be.
Yeah, you could be right.
Why?
I have to double check on that.
Because the Messiah comes from the bloodline of a man.
Maybe I got it backwards. Maybe he's not the bloodline of Abraham, but he's the bloodline of David. It's one of them. I can't remember though. We'll figure it out.
So y'all ready to open it up?
Go ahead. We can open it up.
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
Let them try to bring some funk about the hypocrisy that they suffer from.
They dare come up here.
I gotta y'all keep building. I gotta make a phone call. The brother Jeremiah Judah told me to send him the link. I gotta make sure
make sure you send him the link.
Here we go.
I'm gonna jump back in. Y'all keep building, and then we'll open it up.
JJ 7000.
Man, they follow us like I don't know what, man. It's crazy.
Man, yo, apparently we doing something. We ruffling feathers, yo.
Gotta be.
All right, so he on another call, so hopefully he'll get the link and he can come in if he wants to. He's supposed to be on tomorrow to drop some quote unquote science, so we'll see about that.
No.
So he wanted to come on for a minute and promote what we got going on tomorrow.
Coming in with acid rain, man. Coming on the paradigm shift.
Come over here. Try to
rain.
Abiogenesis and evolution.
Yeah, I think it's something to that effect too. So we're gonna see what's what. But yeah, I'll try to touch base with him.
Well, they don't even talk about the Most High no more. They into biogenics and all that stuff now.
Right? Yeah. Hey, yeah. Listen, I ain't mad at the brother if you want to step into other arenas. So come on over here and speak your speech, man. You already
that's
know.
fine. Just admit that you done came up out that Bible. You don't believe in that Bible like you think you did, and just come on over to the academic side. We'll welcome you. Come on over.
Exactly. All right, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Like I say, if the brother come in, we'll get him in here and let him do his thing. But in the meantime, we just gonna open it up.
7,000, yo.
Yeah, JJ want to come on in. He had hit me up a while ago, but he ended up going on Sinetta. I guess it didn't go well because he reached back out again. So, I'm Sinetta Jr. So I guess when things don't go right with Pops, they come to the son.
I call him JJ -7 infinity.
Man, don't start that, man. Y'all gonna be in here going back and forth now.
Oh, that's
you
my
know
dude.
you public enemy number one, man.
You know, me and JJ go back. He was one of the first people I started going up against. One of the first people having little back chat conversations with and arguments with about this shit. So he's
Yeah, I
hella
say,
funny.
hey, Sabio is public enemy number one in these conscious community YouTube streets, man. You is public enemy number one. I ain't
Why
never
though?
seen nothing like it. I don't care what the ideology is, what the stance is. When they come to, they gonna argue with Sabio. It's gonna be an argument with Sabio.
If they bring the bullshit, you bring nonsense, you bring lies, you got
We got
problems.
met to the God in the building. Hotel, my brother.
Peace.
You there?
Hotel.
Metu, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
All right, all right. Turn me down in the background, though.
Can you hear me?
What's on your mind? Yeah, I can hear you. Turn me
I
down
just
in the
want to
background.
work. What do you?
Go ahead.
Now, dark side. Anybody that believe in religions, I live in your relationships.
Wait a minute, Metu. Do me a favor. Or you, do me a favor. Whatever you listening to me on, turn that down. Because it's echoing.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little staticky, but we can hear you now. Go ahead. Dog, as soon as I said go ahead, he dropped off. So
That's that bad connection.
yeah.
I wanted to see what he said though. He said something about anybody following a religion. I couldn't hear the rest.
Right. Yeah, Metu always come in with a little smoke. So hopefully he'll be back. So we waiting, man. We opened it up. We dropped the link. Who coming in? Who
Nobody. Ain't nobody coming in.
Where ISUPK St. Louis go? They want
You know he ran. He needs to go. He trying
Yeah,
to
them
get in
sure
on
ain't
your
coming in
hunt.
with no information. They're gonna come with slander and name calling and all that
He gotta go get
5-year-old stuff.
permission. He gotta go get permission to go try to lie to people about Constantine being black.
From a man who was asked about. Oh, I ain't going to say it, man. Boy,
Yeah,
this General Muhammad.
I just want him to.
Wow.
Yeah, I just want him to explain how somebody can be an agent. And
He can't, man. He can't explain nothing. None of them can. That's the problem.
I want him to explain when did Constantine get black. And there's 20 other, and which one of them were Constantines before the Constantine that I'm speaking of? Which one of them was black? There was 22 Constantines, 23 Constantines before this Constantine. So which one of them was African?
B Watch, we couldn't hear him either. And then he had me in the background, so he ended up dropping off. So hopefully he'll come back in or he'll jump in the chat. The ISUPK,
Captain K. DeGaulle said that.
Yeah, ISUPK say Constantine is black all day long. Yep. So yeah, it ain't just King James.
And Captain Kazariak said it too.
Who has had any?
They have lost their complete mind. They're insane.
Yeah,
insane. And so they say Constantine is black, the Samaritans is black, the Babylonians is black, the Canaanites is black, the sea people are black. Everybody is black, bro.
Let me lay it out for y'all, particularly B Watch. And like I said, you missed it because I had mentioned you earlier, and you can watch it on the playback. I ain't, it ain't nothing that I ain't said to you personally, but I just talked about having the utmost respect for you and your approach to this information, even as a Christian. And so, but I'm tired of the fact that I show on this channel and personally, I show the utmost respect to Israelites, Christians, anybody, as long as you black. I don't care what you believe in. I done made that abundantly clear with the people who I invite on this channel to come in, talk about what they got going on, what they do in the community, how they can be reached, put your cash up, whatever. I support my people. I don't care what you believe. But then it always gets flipped to where what I believe or whatever ideology I follow, represent, etc., comes under some kind of indictment based not on what I do, but based on what somebody else did or based on whatever your ideology says about it. Case in point, the 42 negative confessions is witchcraft because God said so. That's what my brother said. Not because they wrong, but just because God said so. And so with that being said, that get old. And I'm basically tired of it. I don't nobody get an ISUPK more props than me with regards to what they do in the community. But at the same time, you got a brother telling me I'm a false teacher. But you call Dr. Ben an agent, but you got a 501c3. So how that work? And I'm with the shits at this point. You ain't finna keep on talking all this talk about what other people do and what other people represent when you can barely stand on what you represent. Like you on a house of cards, my G. King James, black. Constantine, black. You done latched yourself to this homo who invested in your ancestor slavery. You done latched yourself to the Native Americans who, let's be clear, been through almost as much as my people have. But you had 5 civilized tribes who became Europeanized and was proud of it. And they enslaved black people. And you can't even admit that because you want them to be Hebrews. You are your doctrine is ahistorical and it's erroneous. I said what I said, and I still give you props for what you do in the community. But your doctrine is fugazi, period.
Facts. You can't even justify and explain why the European would give you a Bible in the first place. The very people that enslaved our ancestors, why would they give you a book from an almighty God? It stops you from thinking critically when you follow this doctrine that you follow. You can't even think outside of the box because you think you're going to hell if you do so. They got you spooked out, literally spooked out in 2, 3, 4 different ways. It's crazy. And we're not banging on you. We're not banging on the people. We're banging on the weapon that's being used against our people to keep our mindset on the plantation. That's what we banging on.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm still laughing at Constantine being black right now. So
As you should be.
good evening, y'all. The game just finished up, and I got a little in between break before this baby go to sleep, and I just want to hop on. But, yeah, y'all had me rolling with that. Yeah, I know y'all can't be serious right here, so I'm just.
Yeah, Captain K in the building. He gonna break it down to you.
Oh, yeah, please do. This is you know how I like to study that early century, so I want to hear this one. Somebody explain that one to me. It's a tough one.
Somebody looking
There's
for
no
Cap.
explanation for it. I'm telling you, they're gonna come up here and try to put a spin on it. That's all they can do.
Put a spin on what?
Hold on, Cap. Go ahead, nobody. You was in first. Go ahead. Or you just listen.
put a spin on getting a tax break from the government, but not calling yourself an agent of the government.
You want me to respond to that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, because
Do,
it looks like
do
nobody
you
else got nothing. Go ahead,
do,
Cap.
do you get a tax return?
Yes, sir.
So you that make you an agent?
No, because I actually have to pay more than I receive. So no.
No, but you just said the statement that you made. So, but you getting money from the government, right? You got to fill out their paperwork, right?
I actually have to pay more. I don't get a
No,
break.
no,
You
no.
do.
What I'm saying though. But I'm gonna break that 501c3 thing down for you, cause I know you're completely unlearned. Um, I don't know where the Asian thing come from about the first. I mean, what I heard y'all. I jumped in a second. So you know, what I'm saying
Hmm.
when
Hmm.
I heard you make the comment about
Yes,
Commander
sir.
Jimmy Hanna being an agent because he got a 501c3. Well, I mean,
No,
what made you come to
Cap.
that conclusion?
Hold on, Cap. Let me be clear. I don't think Commanding General Yohana is an agent. This is what I'm saying. If Dr. Ben is an agent based on the fugazi information that General Yohana provided, which was bunk, then what would that make Commanding General Yohana, considering y'all organization has government sanctioning via a 501c3?
Now show us how unlearned you are
Uh,
and try to
uh,
put a spin on it.
oh,
Go right
oh,
ahead.
okay. Now, first off, uh, now this is the thing
You ain't
about
gotta
the
explain the
501c3.
501c3. We know what that is. I'm saying
No,
this.
I'm
If you got
explaining. You just
hold
made a
on, Cap,
statement.
listen.
You
It's simple. It's simple. I'm telling you, I don't need you to explain what it is. We all know what it is. What I'm asking you to explain to me is this: how can one man say that another man who does not have any organization that has government backing via any documentation, i.e., a 501c3, say that another man, say that that man is an agent and he ain't got that, but he has it? How can that
but
be?
how do you pick that and make you say
Cap, it's just
how do you come
I just
back?
need you to explain it.
No, I just need you to make sense of what you even
Cap,
saying
you
first.
have
Is
what
how can you
makes
just
somebody an
go?
agent, Cap?
How can you just go
What
and
makes somebody
say,
an agent?
well, because they have? Do you know how many people that I know that
Cap,
have nonprofit
Cap,
organization? Wait a minute, brother. Let me
you
talk.
missing it, man.
No, I'm not.
You're not answering the
I'm
question.
not missing it, and
You're not answering the
I'm
question.
going to answer the
You
question,
going
bro.
no,
Hold your
no, you're
horses.
not. You going
Hold your
all around.
Those
horses,
people
bro.
didn't call Dr. Ben an
Hold,
agent.
hold your horses, bro. Now, I know so many folks that have a 501c3, got nonprofit organizations,
And did they call
all
somebody
They
an
didn't
agent?
call Dr. Ben an agent.
all over the city of St. Louis,
Did
right?
they call
They didn't
somebody
call
And
Dr.
an
Ben an
agent?
agent.
man, I got two people talking at the same time. Now you asked me a
Because
question.
you're trying to you're doing
Do
exactly
you
what I
want
said
me
you was
do
gonna
you
come up here
want
and
me to
do.
answer
Let them
or
go.
not?
Let them go, Black Line. Let them go.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead, bro.
yeah. That's crazy how you want me to answer something, but then you keep talking.
You're not answering it, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah, nah. Okay, you had some decorum before I jumped on here. Why don't you show some now that I'm here? You was able to control yourself before I jumped on. Do the same thing now, brother.
All right, go right ahead.
All right. Now, like I said, to turn around and I don't even see. I didn't see the whole thing that Commander Junior Hunter has said about Dr. Ben being an agent. But according to what you said, is how can he call Dr. Ben an agent when Dr. Ben doesn't have a 501c3, but Commander Junior Hunter does? And here's the thing, and I'm gonna show you even in the scripture where this 501c3 is in the Bible, bro.
Man,
So, but here's a
Wait, what?
He says in the Bible, bro.
Let them
Let him
go,
go.
y'all. Let them go. Let
Yep.
them go.
Let him
Let them
go.
go. Everybody mute your mic except Cap.
I'm
All right.
unlearned. Okay.
Yeah, because it's starting to sound like the Three Stooges and Four and Five or whoever's talking.
Yeah, if you
You
think
know
if
what
Here
you
I'm
we
saying?
think
go with
we
That,
the ad
sounding like the
hominem.
Three Stooges, I
that
want you to go back and
no, no.
listen to the
I
replay.
mean, if you want me to respond, bro, won't you be quiet?
I just told them to
Why
let
don't
you
you
go,
show
Yeah,
some
Cap.
yeah,
decorum before you came up
yeah.
here and
Everybody,
stop
Black
with
Line.
the
Hold on,
insult
hold on, hold
and
on,
just
hold on,
answer the
hold on.
question?
Everybody stop. Everybody stop. Black Line. Let them go. Everybody mute your mic except Cap. Go ahead, Cap.
Because we didn't talked about this before, man. Brothers need to show decorum. If you really had something to say, you would be
Cap.
quiet and hold
Cap.
your peace.
I just told
Okay.
everybody to mute their mic. You didn't listen.
I heard you, but
So
I'm saying
go.
what I want to say.
So
All
go.
right. Okay. Now here's what I'm saying about that. Just because you have a 501c3 does not make you a government agent, right? And let me explain. First off, if you work for the government, right, there's a huge difference in working for the government, right, and having to go and file his necessary paperwork. All of the businesses that I own, I had to go and sign paperwork with the white man in order to establish a business for myself and make my own money, right? Versus going to a slave. When I was working a job, I had to do the same thing. I had to go to him, I had to file his necessary paperwork. Okay. Now, in order to feed people the way that we do, okay, good, because you know that the white man has made that illegal also. You can get a ticket for feeding homeless people, right? And in order for us to do what we do, we went and got the necessary paperwork, the 501c3, so we could take care of brothers and sisters that need food and whatever else that we give them, clothes and stuff of that nature. You understand? It's a sister here in St. Louis that got that uh, ticket. You understand? And there was another sister that came to us. She was so scared because she was out there feeding the people. And they had told her, girl, you better watch it because you're going to get that ticket. She said, I already paid $1,000 for mine. And so she came to us, and now she feeds the people through us because we have the paperwork. So she came to us and joined us, and the people that she know and that she had fed, you'll feed for years. Now she's safe now because she don't have to worry about getting a ticket from the damn white man because she could not, get the 501c3 on her own. Okay, so like I said, having that 501c3 does not mean that you're a government, you're an agent. And I'm glad you had cleared it up, DMG, where you said you don't believe he is, because Commander Junior Honda is not. I know him personally, been knowing him for 8 years. You
Hey,
understand?
real
And
quick, Cap. Check this
uh,
out.
go
Now,
ahead.
remember, I didn't say he was an agent. I
Right,
said
I heard
right.
your
So
comparison. Right.
that's why I said I wanted you to
I,
understand.
yeah,
My
I
point.
heard what you said.
My point is, who would be more likely to be one though?
Right, but you just,
Go.
but you can't say, but you can't say that though, because like I
Actually, I
said,
can. Go ahead.
everybody has had to sign some paperwork from the white man, whether you got a job, you understand, or whether you start your own business and all of that. That does not mean you are an agent,
So are you
because you
saying
have.
ISUPK
Hold,
is a
hold,
business? Are you
hold on
calling
one
it a
second,
business?
bro.
Hold on, BLS. He wasn't done. I interrupted him. Let him finish, and then
Go ahead.
BLS.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The ISUPK, we are an organization, right? And like I said again, I don't know if you was listening because everybody's so anxious to talk. They never listen. I just said in order for Commander Junior Hunter to feed, because like we give away tons of food here every month, and it's just one school, so that the government won't shut us down for helping the poor people. We had to have the necessary paperwork. And it's nothing wrong, nothing unlawful, nothing government, nothing sellout about having the 501c3 so that we can conduct and do what we do for our people. That is ridiculous to even compare that. But I'm gonna show you something in the scriptures right here. I'm gonna give two scriptures real quick. Bear with me 1 second. All right. No, it's gonna take a few. No, it'll take just about 2 hours. All right. This is uh in Ezra, right? Everybody know that Ezra was a prophet. Ezra turned around and wanted to rebuild the cities, rebuild the, what I'm saying, to the Most High. And here is, let me see, this is Ezra 4 and 13. It says, and this is when they was going over the necessary paperwork because we are living, what I'm saying, in the land of our oppressors. Were now, we are now, and we were then. And it just so happens that these people have taxes and fees and bills and every damn thing else that we have to do here in their land, right? And so this is Ezra 4 and 13. It says, "Be it known now unto the king that if this city be builded and the walls set up again, then will they not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and so thou shalt damage the revenue of the kings." Now, this is where they was going over the paperwork saying that, okay, if these people don't pay taxes for this stuff that they trying to do, then it's going to damage the king because king need his money, right? And then now I'm gonna go to hold on, wait a minute, chapter 6. Wait a minute, let me find it to where they ended up looking over everything and they put the stamp and the approval and said not to hinder these men for what they doing. Let them not pay taxes because they trying to build a house of God. So hold on 1 second. Let me find it for you. Because we ain't doing nothing no different than what the prophets did in the Bible. Like I said, as far as in DMG, I know you know what I'm saying, you have to go to the state of Missouri in order to register your business, in order to be legit. You understand? So that if you get to making money without giving him his cut, then he gonna come back and he gonna get at you. Without if they find out, a lot of people do it. You know, and matter of fact, it was just a sister that where our school is, right? This sister, she turned around and had a huge thing going, man, with the owner of the building where we rent from, and she was in his spot cooking. It was Taco Tuesday. The sister was making an enormous amount of money. I mean, lines was long as hell. You had to wait 2 hours just to get your food. I mean, she was popping. And you know what happened? They came and shut her down because she did not go and fill out the paperwork, which would have been much more simpler just to do that. It's only $50, you know, just to have your license. Now, of course, she has to get permits with
Right.
dealing with food
I got you,
and
Cap. You
stuff
gotta
like that, right?
go to the
So,
the
so
Secretary of
yeah,
State
yeah,
website.
right.
Yeah,
That's why I said,
yeah,
but what I'm saying, but the point is, she done lost more money. You understand? Versus her just having the paperwork in order, and that's what I'm saying about if we was to turn around and feed the people. You understand? To do what we do for the homeless, man, the folks that can't take care of themselves, you know, then they would shut us down. You know, I didn't had so
I,
many people.
Cap. I got to be clear about something.
What's that?
I understand that. We understand that.
Right.
The question is,
I get it,
again, who would be more likely
and it's
to
not
be
even in
an
that
agent?
case. You can't say
So,
that because
yeah, I can't.
no, because like I told you, but
Cap.
I didn't hear the information that he shared with about
No,
Dr. Ben, so
but
I can't.
that's besides the
But
point.
that's
What I'm asking you is this: let's take Dr. Ben and General Yohana out of it. let's just say it's two men. One man does not have an organization or anything that beholds him to the government at this particular stage of his life. Another man has an organization and a business, let's say, that beholds him to the government because, if for nothing else, because of his organization and the business. If one of those individuals were to be an agent, which one would be more likely? The one without ties to the government or the one with ties to the government?
The
I'm
501c3 does not mean you are tied to the government.
Is it a government?
This is where you misinformed
at. Is it a government document?
This is where you misinformed
Is
at.
it a government
Is
document?
that you're tied? You're saying he's tied to the government, bro. You just we're not. It's not a government entity. That means you a government entity then because you got a government document. Are you tied to the government?
I pay taxes.
But are you tied to the government though? Are you an agent because you got the paperwork?
No.
So make sense of that though. Make sense of that though, DMG.
I'm about to.
You just you got government paperwork too, right?
You just
so that means I can say that you're a government agent if we just gonna go off paperwork.
It's not about saying that I am or I ain't. It's about who would be more likely to be. So if I take somebody like Sabio, let's say Sabio again is a man.
Everybody on this show right now has some sort of government paperwork in their pocket.
Again, no, but we talking about a 501c3. So
that's what you added. You added that in there. But everybody on the panel has government paperwork. So everybody on here will be agents, right?
You don't want to hear it, right?
No, I'm listening. I'm just saying.
I just asked a
Is this the same captain that's always yelling about respect?
Hold on, Sabio. Let me rock because I'm gonna go to BLS and then we'll go to you and Byron. But check it out. I'm just simply asking the man that doesn't have, let's say he don't have paperwork for a non-profit organization. Let's say he's retired. He don't have those type of documents for whatever reason. Say he used to, and now he no longer does. But we do have an individual, say it's me. So I'm telling you, if I have a 501c3 for my nonprofit organization, and I have my certificate of organization for my business, as you know I do, then I would be the candidate that's more likely to be an agent than the person who doesn't have those documents, based on the fact that if the government were to come to somebody, they would come to me because they have leverage over me because I have those documents that they can hold over my head versus the person that they don't have them on. Am I wrong?
Yes, because here's the thing right here. You talking about having the paperwork. Okay, it's how many brothers on this thing right now? 5 of us. All 5 of us have some sort of government paperwork in our possession. And when you're speaking about someone working for the government and being an agent for the government, I would not go and say, well, I know DMG got a business and he had to go to the Secretary of State and file paperwork for it so he could be an agent. I'm not going to go off of that. What I would do is a government agent to me is someone who is pushing their agenda. That's what I would look at. I would not look at their paperwork. That is insane to go. Hold on. Let me say what I'm saying. Let me say what I'm saying. I would look at your agenda that a person is pushing versus, you understand, some paperwork that a person has in their pocket. Okay, I'll say this. There was a let me give you an example of what I'm saying. To where a government to where government.
Let's get the Black
Hold
Lives
on,
Matter
DMG.
Cap, because
Hold on one
we're gonna be
second now.
going back and forth forever.
No, no,
Hold on, man.
one second. Let me
Can I
finish saying
help
what
you
I'm.
out? Mark?
Let
As a
me
regular brother
finish
with
saying what I'm
multiple.
saying real quick. Hold on, B Wash.
Go
Hold
ahead,
on, bro.
Doc.
Hold on, big guy. I'm
Hold
just saying, bro. I'm trying to help
on.
you out as a brother
No,
with
no,
multiple
no,
business degrees.
no.
As a
I
brother
get
with,
it. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? As a brother, I'm sitting here as a brother
no,
with a
I got you.
graduate
I
with multiple business degrees.
I
I
got
don't
you.
want you to
No,
put your foot in your mouth.
no.
I'm trying to help you. I'm
I'm
trying to help
saying
you.
one second, brother. Just
Let him
hold
wrap
on
it up.
before you.
Let him wrap it up, Byron, so we can get to
All right,
DLA.
I'm just,
Let him wrap it up.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Oh, okay. So no, I don't need no help. I think that's what he said. He was trying to help me do something. I don't need no help. Again, like I was saying, is
I
I
put
would not
arrogant
look
in the
at.
title.
I would not say it again.
I say that's why I put arrogant in the title.
No, it's all good. What I'm saying is this right here. I ain't even tripping off the title or nothing like that. I was just tripping off what was said. But I heard something about Commander Hana and a 501c3 and all of this, which just sound ridiculous. Like I said, me myself, I would not take out of the five brothers that's right here on this panel right now and jump to try to find out what kind of paperwork and how you file for taxes, head of household, and all this nonsense. You understand? And say, well, you might be an agent more because you got some paperwork and they can hold some over your head. They cannot hold nothing over our head. You understand? Because we got our stuff in order. Okay? Like I said, we need the paperwork in order to feed the homeless, in order to, take care of our people that's downtown, that they done shut the, saying, shut them out the park. And I just went down there with some clothes and things for them the other day. Okay, this is what we do. We taking care of our people that needs food. They can't take care of themselves right now. You understand? So, but if I was to go out and do that without the paperwork, I'm subject to turn around and they will give me a fine because it's against the law that they make and that they run. You understand? For me to do so without having their paperwork. So, like I said, just having that 501c3 does not mean that you have sold out to the government. We speak against the government every single day. Okay, we pray for this government's destruction every single day. It's not like we're, in their pockets, and then we got to be on the hush hush. You know what I'm saying? And be quiet about the things that we say. You understand? No, we're not. Because
That's called
if
freedom
you're,
of speech, Cap.
cause no, it's not. If we were government agents, we would not be able
Now
to
nobody said y'all
freely.
was government
No,
agents, bro.
oh, okay, you missing the
I
point.
asked you.
I
No, you
didn't say.
missing
I
it,
said several different
Cap.
times that
I
I
said,
understood what you said,
but you,
but to
if you
compare,
understood, you would have just answered it.
you compared uh, uh the brother Ben X and Commander Julian, and you said who would be likely to be an agent because of a 501c3. You would say that I would think that
You
that
never
person
answered
is
the
more of an
question, Cap.
agent. You understand?
So
Like I said,
so just to sum it up, you feel like the 501c3 would have nothing to do with who would be more likely to be an agent. Is that correct?
I just said yes.
Okay.
That's what I just
I
said.
got you. I got you.
Because everybody that got a job you got to sign paperwork with the white man
I
in
got
order to get a tax return. You understand? In order to pay, you gotta pay your taxes. Whether you get weekly check, bi-weekly, monthly, taxes come out of your check every damn period, whatever your pay period is.
I got you. I got you.
So, like I
Understood.
said, signing paperwork means nothing as far as who could possibly be an agent. I thought I just made that clear. That
No,
everybody on here has some sort
listen.
of paperwork in their pocket.
I understood what you said. I'm making
Right.
sure you understood the question.
I did. I heard you when you said that. That's why I
Okay.
said I'm glad you made that clear that you
Okay.
didn't say that he was an agent. I said that, bro.
Okay.
I'm not missing anything by me saying how can we be agents. Don't take it personal
No,
because
no,
I
no.
didn't
I'm not.
misunderstand what you
I'm
said.
not. I'm saying
I I, un- I
for the people that's
understood what you
listening,
said.
because even in the chat, we got people saying you haven't answered. So I'm just making sure we get into. Your answer is having a 501c3 status, a nonprofit status, has nothing to do with who would be more likely to be an agent.
If anybody was to draw that because of that, they just unlearned. You understand? And they don't know what they're talking about. Because, like I said, if you're gonna do that, like I said, it's the agenda that they push. That's what I would be worried about, and that's why I was gonna give you the example of
Can somebody else talk?
This lady.
Chill out, Samuel. Chill out.
See, that's okay. But anyway, what I'm saying is, it's a sister that went into a church pushing abortion, right? When she was trying to be I think the mayor or governor or something like that. She most certainly is an agent. She's pushing their agenda against black people, right? So if you go and push some sort of agenda for the government, we don't push an agenda. We're teaching our people to be separate from them. You understand? To where we Commander Junior Hanley has got a plan to where we can come together. We're gonna start building up our own community. You understand? Not to where we got to depend on the government, because we once before turned around and had our own communities, and guess what? We can do it again. But the only thing that we did not have before was the Most High on our side. So now, you understand, we trying to do it this way, and that way they won't get bombed, it won't get shut down. You understand? The white man won't be able to be a terrorist over our communities once he do that, like what he is right now, because of our people sinning against the Lord. So that's what we teach. We don't teach, join the government. You understand? No one in our organization is forcing that on anyone, or even would make you think that we have sold out to the government or anything. That's all I'm doing, is just explaining that. You understand? I didn't say that you said it. I made myself clear when you first spoke. Is that I'm glad you cleared that up. So, like I said, that's all, man. And no, I would not go to a person's, uh, pocket and say, "Let me see, your paperwork from the government," and then say, "Oh, you're a sellout, or you're an agent."
Get your hand out of my pocket. Check it out.
Mm-hmm.
I found something that you and nobody from Trust and Believe the Gospel actually agree on, and that's a 501c3. So I guess ISUPK and the Black Church actually do have something in common. But let me go to Black Lion Supreme right quick. Go ahead, Black Lion.
All right. Let's. Before you came up here, we all had a.
And Black Lion, props to you and everybody else for being patient, because my brother Captain K is long-winded. I appreciate your patience. Go ahead.
I appreciate that, fam. Thanks. Cap, I want to say, we all had a pretty good idea what a 503 was before you came up here. So let's take this a little slowly. Now, it's my understanding that means that you are exempt from paying taxes. Is that true or not?
Okay. On the funds that is collected by the general, it will make absolutely no sense to pay taxes, because we're not a profit. We don't do what we're doing for profit. We're taking the money and giving it to people in need. You understand, Commander?
Yes, sir.
Not only
Ask you if it makes sense.
hold on.
I
Not
just
only does
ask you
he
if you
not
do you have to pay
let him
taxes or
respond.
not? It's a yes or
not
no
only
question.
BLS, let him respond.
not only
go back in.
Not only does he, feed them, but he's housing them too. He got barracks all over the country where brothers and sisters that is homeless can have a place to stay. So as
Yes,
he's
sir.
housing the brothers and sisters and feeding them, to pay taxes on the money that is donated would be ridiculous, because it's not like he's selling chicken wings. You understand?
Okay.
He's
So the
not
answer
selling
is
cars.
no, you don't.
Cap,
So
The answer is no, you don't.
yes. The answer is no. I'm
Okay, sir.
explaining why he don't
That's what I
pay
wanted to
tax.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can I continue? That's what I wanted to know from you. Thank you very much. Now, you compared your organization to your businesses. Now, one of my first businesses was after party club. So I know what you're talking about because I didn't fill out the paperwork either. And they put a big police bus in front of my establishment and closed down the club. So you're absolutely right. But they wasn't giving me a tax break. They wanted me to pay. Same with you when you had to fill out the paperwork. Same with all the people that you're talking about on this panel. We have to pay taxes. We don't get an exemption. That's the difference. So we're not talking about a business. We're talking about a particular organization, a religious organization at that, that's based on the fundamental religion of this country, the same country that enslaved our ancestors. So I would never call General Yohana an agent because he gets that exemption. The question is, how can he identify Dr. Ben as an agent if he is hooked up with an organization that he says is of the devil? That's the difference. We here on this panel don't call the government the devil. Your organization does. Your organization calls the white man the devil. Your organization says the white man is the supreme enemy. Your organization says that he is partly responsible for the downfall of our people. Now, I agree with you when it comes to that, but I don't say that from a spiritual context. I say it from a historical one. You claim it's from a historical and a spiritual context. So the question is, how can you have any type of affiliation with a people that you say is the devil himself? It's the devil himself. Now you brought up Ezra.
Hmm.
Now, as far as my understanding, Ezra was a priest. He wasn't a rabbi. Well, the priests are not in control anymore. They haven't been in control since 70 CE. When the rabbinical period started after the priesthood ended because of the destruction of the second temple. So what rabbinical Jew will repeat what you just said? You read a couple of verses from the Bible, but those verses was talking about those who had to pay the king. It wasn't for them to get an exemption.
Yes, it was.
So how are they getting exempt when
And I'll
when the
tell you.
verses you read said to pay that they had to pay taxes to the king?
Hmm.
You're not paying taxes to the king.
Okay. Okay. Here, you said a couple things,
Hey,
and maybe
Cap,
you didn't.
after you
Maybe you
answer
didn't
this, we're
hear.
gonna move on to the next person.
I got
Yes,
you. No
sir.
sweat.
I'm done. I'm done. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Maybe
please.
maybe you didn't hear what I said at first as to and that's why I explained what I explained, because this isn't the first person, you're not the first person or people to even ask this question. So that's why I explained why the tax exemption before I even gave you the answer. You understand? It's because the funds are donated and the
Hmm.
funds are given to people, right? In order to take care of the poor, in order to house the people, in order to feed them and stuff like that, and clothe them. You understand? The money
Yes, sir.
comes in, gets donated, and then it goes out for service. So when he pays, the rent at the barracks, right, in all of these
Hmm.
cities,
Hmm.
paying taxes on that when the money was donated to the food drive that we do here in St.
Hmm.
Louis. That's a bunch of food that we give away. You understand? And
Yes,
and,
sir.
and to pay taxes on it, it's not like I'm on the corner with that food and I'm saying, hey, we got watermelons and this and that, $5, 2 for $5. You understand? I'm not selling it.
Hmm.
So
Yes,
so
sir.
that would be crazy to turn around and pay taxes on donated funds that is in return going to be given away in services. That
I agree
doesn't
with
make
you.
sense. So right,
I
okay,
agree.
so right. So
But
but with the
that's not the same as
comparison,
a business.
oh,
All I'm saying is, why
right,
would you compare a business to
because
a
the
nonprofit
oh,
organization?
okay, and obviously you're not listening. I said the comparison was even to start a business, you have to go to the government and get some paperwork.
Yes, sir. I agree with you.
All of the businesses that I have, that's for profit. You
Yes,
understand?
sir. I
But I
agree. I
still
agree.
gotta go to the government and
You do.
sign his paperwork
You
in
do.
or I would be like what you said your business was. They had the police sitting outside of you because they wanted
Exactly.
money from you. And
Exactly.
I said in my explanation that in order if you go out and feed the home, I don't know if you had a 501c3 or not. I'm assuming you don't. But if you was to
Mm-mm.
go out and try to feed the homeless, they could, if they felt like it, give you a ticket for you not having the proper paperwork. And at that moment, you're not just setting up a business, you're offering services. So
Right.
why not have the proper paperwork to offer the poor people the services? That's what I'm
Because it's
saying.
come from the devil. The people that you say is a devil.
But
That's why.
what I'm saying is, but as far as you owning your business, did you get the
Mhm.
paperwork straight from
Yeah,
these
but
people?
I,
Wait, hold
I'm
on,
not
wait,
using your logic. Your
hold on,
logic
bro.
is this is the
Hold on,
devil.
bro. But you did say that they enslaved Africans, right?
Yes, I did. Yes, I
Okay,
did.
so why are you going to your enslaver to get your paperwork? That's the same thing. You're just not saying what I'm saying.
No, but you're taking it to a whole different level. I
What
say that
level
from a
am I taking
historical
it to?
perspective. You're
Oh,
saying it from a historical and a spiritual
oh,
perspective,
oh,
sir.
okay, okay. Let me ask you this: the houses. If you own a house, right? Do
Hmm.
do you do the oppressor, right? The murderer of this
Yes, sir.
earth. He owns
Yes, sir.
the property and the land, right?
Yes.
So do you not get a house just because he owns it?
Yes, but I don't call him a devil. I
But
understand he's the enemy,
it
and I have
doesn't
to
matter.
deal
Wait,
with
wait.
him accordingly
Hold on, hold on,
in
hold,
a
hold
land
on.
that he
Just,
controls.
just hold on, just hold on.
Oh,
Listen,
okay, okay, PID.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just hold on,
yeah,
hold on, hold
I'm
on.
gonna let
we're
somebody
gonna
else
we're
go.
gonna
Hold,
move we're
hold on.
gonna move to be watched, Cap. We're gonna
Hold on.
move.
Well,
I
we're
want
gonna
him to
continue
answer
this,
that though.
Cam. We're gonna
I
continue
want.
this,
We
Cam.
gotta move on,
Hold on,
Cap.
DMG. Hold on one
Cap,
second, DMG.
Cap.
If
Listen,
he could, hold on, wait a minute. If he
we gotta
could,
move on, Cap. We
I
gotta
got you.
move
It's gonna
on.
be real
We
quick.
gotta move on,
I ain't gonna be
Cam.
long. I ain't gonna
We'll
be
come
long
back.
winded with it.
We'll
Hold,
come
Cap,
hold,
back.
we gotta move
hold
on.
on. I ain't gonna be long
Because then
winded
I'm
with
gonna
it.
have
I
to say
promise.
something. If you
Cap,
say something, I'm
I
gonna have to say something.
I
So let's just
promise.
move. Let's just give somebody else
Don't have
another
no
turn,
yeah,
and
we
then
respect.
we'll
gotta
come
move
back
on.
to it.
We gotta move on. Be watched. Let me
Yeah,
let,
man.
me- let me make sure before you and Cap converse. Did you understand my question?
Yep.
Because I see our brother nobody from Trust and Believe the Gospel saying my question didn't make sense. Did my question make sense, or was it nonsensical in your opinion?
I understood the principle of what you're saying. You're essentially saying the pot can't call the kettle black.
I appreciate it. I just because I'm trying to figure out where something got lost in translation. You and
Where
Cap,
you can't call the saying them black
you and Cap go ahead
according to
and do y'all thing.
according to a 501c3. I'm just trying to
Well,
figure out how would you use that to say that he would be closer to being an agent because of that when all of us got paid. All of your viewers and listeners got the white man's paperwork in his pocket.
But
So I just don't
none of us
understand it
called
though.
another man an agent
yeah,
though.
that's why I said
No,
the pot. Yeah, but
I understand. You
But
said you didn't
they all
actually call
don't
him an
run
agent.
hold on, hold
religious
on, hold
But
on.
institutions.
what I'm
That's
saying,
the
what
Hold on,
I'm
hold
difference.
on.
saying is
Hey,
right.
Cause I got limited time.
let him and B Watch go at it.
Just like I ain't really trying to tell. What I was trying
Not
to
go
say
at it, but
earlier.
y'all let
Yeah,
y'all converse.
what I was trying to say is that, bro, like I ain't even trying to toot my own horn, but I have multiple business degrees. I'm a senior executive in a Fortune 500, Fortune 5 company at this point. Like, what I'm telling you is that there's multiple levels with 501c3. I run a couple 501c3s myself, and you can even make you. There's even ways for your 501c3 to make money for you,
Thank you. I
and
was going to
protect
say that.
yourself because it's not always about charity and giving away services. You can have people on your payroll with a 501c and make and charge it. It's really about what you're doing. So, but I even say that even my experiences that I don't speak on that kind of stuff because there's unless you got let a CPA handle that business. I promise you, let a CPA talk because you might end up saying some stuff to put your foot in your mouth and it can be held against you later. That's why
Ain't
I was trying
ain't
to cut you off and say,
ain't nothing gonna be held against me, brother.
Okay,
I know exactly what I'm saying, and I'll say whatever I say on this line or anywhere else. That
hey,
doesn't bother me.
they got plenty of people upstate say the same thing.
That
Trevor, give me 1 second if I could.
that
I'm
doesn't bother me,
but
brother.
what I'm saying, or my
Let me
original
go.
question.
Let me speak because I've
We
been
we
waiting
not
patiently.
Hold on.
we not
I just want to
sure
get my
the
question
Israelite.
out. I just got one
If you're
question.
done with Byron, we got to go to Sabio.
Yeah, I'll go to
I'm
mute
pretty
because
sure
I don't
Boss
even want to go
I
back
just
and
want to
forth.
say something.
I just want someone to, because that's the reason why I got on. Someone said that and I ain't trying to laugh to be funny, but that Constantine, like the Emperor Constantine, the infamous Roman Emperor, was black.
The subject finna change, bro.
I'm trying
Right.
to. That's the only question I had. I just wanted to.
Everybody,
I want to get.
everybody but Byron and Cap, mute your mic.
I just want to get that answer. That's all I like. I ain't even gonna go back and forth. I just want to get an explanation because this is the first time that I'm hearing that. I heard the King James stuff before. I haven't heard that Constantine is black before. So I really need somebody to explain to me fully how that works.
Mm-mm-mm.
Go ahead,
That,
sir. It's on you.
yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm going on
Church,
mute. I ain't gonna say nothing else.
we all over the place. Good
Like
goddamn
for real.
night. Good
Can I
night.
tell what y'all call me out for so I can leave? Oh man.
Good night.
It's on
Well,
you,
you
Cap. I'm being quiet. I'm saying I just want to get the explanation. That's
That,
all, bro.
that's cool. I started explaining that, and we supposed to be holding that for a different dialogue. I don't even know why we even going there.
well, go
Instead of
on the
talking about
text.
what we're talking
Go
about.
on the
We
503.
gon' we gon'
Ken. Go ahead.
no, we gon' I pretty
My
much
bad. You know
summed
what?
that up.
Yeah, if you got that in a different
I
dialogue,
pretty much summed that up as far as
yeah,
the
I'll find. I'll look for
501c3.
it, Bianchi. If you got it, let me know which one it is. I can look at. I haven't heard that before, so I want to.
You know what I'm saying? We gonna chop that up in a whole different thing, man. We gonna
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's for one of the debates that we got coming up out of the three.
Okay, I
Okay.
respect. I
I
respect that.
believe that is,
I
but like I
respect. I
said, we
respect that.
gonna ain't no sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand where you brothers be coming from half the time.
Hey, we
That's
didn't
bro.
say that.
That's just
Yeah,
the
y'all
question I
said
had.
that. We don't know where you coming from.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I just
it's,
heard, bro. But if you got a debate with it, I respect that. You ain't got to put
you
your
know what I'm
material out
saying.
there right now. You got it.
It's
I'm up.
it's all good. Like
I'll go on mute.
it is it's kind of funny how we work for white people right now today, but you don't see that being possible any other time in life. The white
No doubt. No doubt about it.
brothers have designed a black man designed Washington and all these goddamn cities and these states
No,
under
no
the
doubt.
white man. You
No doubt.
understand?
No doubt.
It's crazy how
The Greeks had black
now
generals. Romans had black
exactly
generals. You're absolutely
absolutely
right. You're
America
absolutely
got
correct.
them exactly. We've
They even
been
had a
But
few
working
that
for
don't
African
these
make
emperors
people
wrong.
Constantine
forever.
black.
Okay, but we definitely gonna get on that
Hey,
in that
Okay.
BLS,
discussion.
I'm with you the whole way on that one. That's my question because I know they even got Roman emperors, some Roman emperors
Yes,
that were
sir.
African.
No doubt about it. He's
I'm just
absolutely correct.
I'm just trying to
But that
find out
doesn't
where
mean that
Constantine was.
Julius Caesar was black, or Constantine, or what's his
No,
name?
nobody said Julius Caesar was black.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
No,
just
Can
no,
I
saying.
get
I'm just
so
saying
nobody said that.
those are
can I
the
get in
main,
here?
some of the main figures, and we know they wasn't black. Go ahead, Sabio.
Cause Byron Washington just asked him a question. And I wasn't gonna ask him that, but I've been studying this area.
But check it out, Sabio. Now remember, we sticking on the 501c3 subject because the brother said we're gonna talk about that in the debate. So let's keep it within the
Who he debating?
parameters. We don't,
Who he debating? I know he ain't debating me.
we ain't decided who gonna debate who
Cause he
yet.
don't want to debate me on that.
But I mean you
I
can
got all the receipts on that.
as long as we can
Hey,
keep
Sabio,
it
bring it out.
as long as we can keep it respectful. I mean, it just depends, but we just gonna stay on task with this particular conversation because the brother say he gonna tackle that in a different dialogue. So
All right, well, I just say that I got all the receipts on Constantine, on all the Constantines. All right. So anyway, this whole idea about agent and Dr. Ben being an agent, and things like that, and how a person who works, who has a 501c3 is more likely to be an agent and work for the government is like this. Because you're number one, you're getting what? Funded by the government to run that 501c3. I actually worked in a 501c3, missionstlouis.org. You can look them up. They're still running. They started out on Newstead and Newstead and Manchester, excuse me. And now they're up on Grand and Natural Bridge across the street from the Boys Club. Yeah, I worked with them. I helped them start their 501c3. They paid me and they paid every other worker. So you're funded by the government to do what? Help out the community, feed the community, clothe the community, teach young children, give them after school programs. They were funded by the government to do this. So that's why you're more likely to be an agent and work for the government.
Okay,
If you have a 501c3, sir.
okay. Let me help y'all here. Help say clear up something for you. Not all 501c3s are funded by the government. We are not funded by the government. The government does not give us any funds, you understand, to
They
do
don't take your
any of
funds.
the things that we do. We're
They
doing it
don't take your
ourselves.
funds. They
Okay.
don't take your
I've
funds.
been paying
Let them talk, say,
I've been paying for the rent at this school that we have here for 4 years. How many years we been in it? 4 years. If that's the case, if we funded by the government, which I know that we are not, then somebody owe me some money. Then the government is not funding us to do what we're doing, bro. You understand? I don't know if you heard Byron, the brother Byron, where he said it's different levels of 501c3. We are not on a level to where they are paying us to do nothing. They're not giving us any cash and saying, okay, here's $30,000 for the kids after school. I know what you're talking about, but this ain't that. You understand? What we have is not where the government is giving us money, saying here goes X amount of, hundreds of thousands of dollars for all the schools that you have, and here, you can pay the bills with this and do that with this, and then you can turn around and have this and have that. I don't know if you know that, brother, about us. We don't have. We're trying to get, you understand, a lot of these programs going not under the 501c3 status where the government to give us cash, but because we simply do it for our people. Like for instance, Captain Akkad, he has uh, a summer camp that he runs, that he pays for, not no government. Even though we got a 501c3, we do this because we love our people, not because the government is dishing out money to us in order to do this. You understand? So, like I said, you're incorrect on the things that you're saying, and that's the problem with people that just speak on their emotions and their feelings when they don't necessarily have the facts. Just because you work for an organization that was getting particular funds to set up after school programs, not the ISUPK. Right. Matter of fact,
So are you a
as a
All right,
hold,
501c7?
hold on,
wait,
Are you
hold
a
on one second.
501c7?
let's go.
Okay,
Are you
Let's
a
go to
okay,
Google.
501c7?
now,
Hold on, listen,
now,
y'all. Listen,
as a,
listen. We're gonna go to Google Scholar
I just
because
want to ask you one more
we
question
we
because it
we
might be a
we
501c7.
almost Sabio, we almost at 3 hours. Let's go to Google Scholar and let him ask his question.
And if he's a
Oh, are you hearing me
501c7,
clear?
then we're looking
Yeah,
at
we
him.
hear
Then
you.
we're looking at him wrong.
Okay.
They might be a 501.
now
uh,
we 501c3. Now we finna be a 501c7. Now we're gonna be a 501c9.
hold on, man.
The
Let me
brother all over the place.
Go ahead,
let me
Google
just.
Scholar.
All right, just give me like about a minute and a half or something. First, I want to say peace. It's the first time I've been on your show. I've been a listener and I've been in the comments, but it's the first time I came on.
I
So thank
appreciate
you
it,
for
bro.
that. All right. So the first thing I want to address is that I did understand your question. It was clear to me, and I feel like the brother evaded the question for the most part, and he tried to, I think, pull the wool over our eyes in terms of the role and what exactly is a 501c3. A 501c3 is basically, as people say, a tax exempt status. That means it's an organization that is not required by law to pay certain federal and state taxes. Now, because you're a nonprofit organization or a church, doesn't mean that you automatically have it. It's something you have to apply for. Now, when you apply to the government, they grant you it. And when they grant you it, it's not a situation where you can still be a nonprofit organization and not apply for that tax exempt status. So when the brother says that because they do volunteer work or they help the homeless, they have to have that. That's not true. You can do all those things and not be a 501c3. For a while, I was with an organization called the Atheists Helping the Homeless. They are a nonprofit organization. They do like helping homeless people, volunteer, do stuff like feed the homeless on holidays, especially like Thanksgiving and Christmas. And they do not have a 501c3. So it's possible. Now, back to the question. The 501c3 means that you have to abide by certain rules set by the government. If you violate those rules, they can take that from you. So that means, in a way, you're beholden to the government. It's not the same as you work at somewhere and you pay your taxes. So that the brother tried to make that seem like that was the same thing. It's not. If you don't follow the rules set forth in the agreement, they can revoke that. So in a sense, you're beholden to the government. So if any one of the two persons would be more likely to be an agent of the government is the one that has something to lose from the government. And that's basically what I had to say.
Boom.
You want to respond, Cap? You there, Cap? Cap, you there? I think we lost Cap.
A dagger, man. A dagger was deadly.
No, because I heard him dancing around the issue, trying to make it seem like if you work at a job and pay your taxes, it is the same like having a 501c3. It's not.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. I mean, he had us all confused here. We all knew what the document was and what it stood for, and he came up here and started talking about personal businesses and stuff like that. What's that got to do with this conversation? It's a completely different thing all the way.
Yeah,
So that's why I was like,
I
tell me. Go ahead.
No, I'm with you because I was trying to explain to my brother, Captain 10K, that we all know what a 501c3 is.
Yeah.
What I was trying to.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got
we
him
can hear
back.
you.
We got him back.
Okay, hold on. I got two things. One second.
Did you hear the brother? Dang, he fell off.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me earlier.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what I was hearing. Yeah, I heard what he said, and I was responding, but I don't think y'all could hear me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if
Yeah,
you Cap, real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
If you're listening to me on something in the back, turn it down.
No, I'm actually not. It's just this. I ain't got nothing else on.
We got an echo for some reason.
I don't know.
I just mute my mic while you doing your thing.
Okay, let me know if it's still is it still echoing.
Peace. Yeah.
Yours is mine echo?
No,
Cause
no,
I
No,
don't
you
hear.
good. You
Oh, okay, it's
good.
echo on your end. Oh, okay, yeah. Cause
yeah,
I.
you good. It's just when one of us speak.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I ain't got nothing else going.
Okay, so yeah, everybody just mute your mic and let Cap respond to the brother.
Oh, okay. I don't know what kind of wool I was trying to pull over who I when I said that. Yes, we are an organization. You understand? And we do have the 501c3, and we do not pay taxes. And I said why? Because we feed and house brothers and sisters and clothe them as well. You understand? So I don't know what wool I'm trying to pull over nobody's eye. And he is lying. You cannot do what we're doing. And I mean, like I said, you can go and just feed the homeless, right? It's a lot of times to where I turn around and people that's out and about, I meet them, see them, whatever they want some food, I'm going to get some, I buy them some, I give them some change, stuff like that. But as an organization that is doing that, you have to have their paperwork. I forgot that white boy that they gave him a $2,000 fine because his organization went out and was feeding the homeless. And this was on TV. This made the news. Y'all can look this up. Uh, it was several of them to where they turned around without the paperwork, went and was feeding the homeless, and got a $2,000 fine. So, and like I said, I still don't even understand why and how a person would draw straight to say, okay, the person that would be closer to being an agent is the one that has a 501c3, when that's not what I would be looking for. To say it's like, for instance, um, if I had two people standing before me and I said which one would be closer to being a drug dealer, I ain't just gonna look at the one that got money and houses and cars just because drug dealers are known for having that. I'm gonna look for the one that's going and making pickups and drop offs here and there. Ones that's standing on the corner. Ones that's in the kitchen cooking something. That's who I'm gonna say. You understand? Not the person that damn he got. I mean, he is riding the Benz though. I mean, he do got a lot of money in his pocket. He do got like 2 cribs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna just pull that out of my hat and say, well, you might be closer to this because of this. I'm like I said, I'm more so gonna look at the. I understood what you said. I said that several different times, but it just made no sense to me why you would pull a 501c3 and make that your privilege, and you stand on that and say, well, this was what would make this person more closer to than the other. That's why I said it just made no sense to me. You understand? So and like I said, it was something else that he said. I forgot, but the rules that he's talking about, the government. I mean, what other rule would stand above you speaking against the U.S. government? That would most certainly be in the rules for us to be hush hush and be quiet if we were a government entity and if we turned around and made an agreement with them, and if what I'm saying, we had something to lose, why on earth are we going against the government every single day in every ISUPK class in this country, out this country, on every corner that we own for camp in St. Louis, Chicago, New York, Mexico, even UK, even we go against the government everywhere because the government is oppressing us everywhere. Everywhere blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are, the government is oppressing us in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So why on earth would we speak against them? If we got something to lose, that would us tarnishing their reputation, and going against what they say, and saying that would be number one. So how can we sit and say what we say about the government, but because we got a 501c3 now somehow we join together with them, we in arms with them? That is ridiculous. No, we not. The same with a person, like I said, if you got a job, you have to fill out the government's paperwork. If you own a business, you got to fill out the government's paperwork. If you want to start a nonprofit organization, a charitable organization, you have to fill out the government's paperwork. If you want to buy a house, I own several houses and I had to fill out a whole lot of paperwork. That goddamn packet, uh, that damn thing take about 5 hours to get done signing. You know what I'm talking about, DMG. You got some. You know what I'm saying? All the papers that you got to sign of the governments in order to buy a comfortable place for you and your family to live in. To turn around, if you wanted to get a car, I mean, everything that you do, you got to go to the white man and get his paperwork. So that just simply makes no sense to even say that. To say that was will make a person an agent. Like I said.
So again, Cap, I think
Mhm.
you mute your mic. 'Cause I still hear that.
Okay.
I think you're missing the nuance of the question. The question wasn't saying anyone was an agent. The question was simply asking who would be more likely to be one. That's why I said we could take a Dr. Ben and General Yohana out of it. And that's what the brother was pointing out. You explaining what y'all do and why y'all do it is magnificent. And like I said, you know for a fact, point to another non-Israelite that give y'all more props for what y'all do than me. So that's not the point. We know we everybody know what y'all do, and everybody respect what y'all do for the people. And whatever y'all had to do to be able to do that is appreciated. The point of the question was, who would be more likely to be an agent? Someone. I ain't gonna even rehash the question because it ain't at this point.
Right, I understood what you said. Right. I got you, but I'm still saying that I would not even I would not even think that. You know what I'm saying?
It didn't make sense to you because it's Commander General Yohana.
No, even if it's a preacher. Let me tell you something. Let me explain something real quick if I could. I got a cousin, right? He's a preacher. 501c3. He got all that. 501c3 never came out of my mouth when me and him battled on several different occasions.
Did he call you
it was about, huh?
Did he call you an eight?
No, listen to what I'm saying. Never did we even. I know the man got one, right? I know what he do, but never once did I draw my conclusion according to that piece of paperwork he got. You understand? The things that he was pushing, you understand, is what made me go against him and let him know, okay, you lying on this point and on that point you wrong here and you wrong there. Never once did I draw to his paperwork. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. I wouldn't even.
Of course not. You got the same paperwork.
What are you talking about? What me having the same paperwork has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it.
But you wasn't criticizing him for doing the same thing you're doing. That would make sense.
We're not doing the same thing. We're not. Yeah, and again, you're not listening. You brothers have a hard. You brothers have a hard time listening.
The same document. You might not be teaching the same doctrine, but you both receive a tax exempt.
Hold on. The only reason I'm muting you, Cap, is because you got that echo. So
I got you.
This is what I want to say, and because we're gonna wrap this up, but we had 3 hours basically, so I'm gonna have everybody close out. But this is what I want to say, and I appreciate everybody for coming on. The point was this. Again, I don't think Commander General Yohana is an agent. I think he do good things for our people, etc. My point was simply this. If you have ties to the government, which, as you said, we all do, especially those who are in business, have nonprofit organizations, etc., then it would be incumbent. Let's get down to the brass tacks, because you've called me a false teacher. for teaching Kemetic science, Kemetic spirituality, etc. So, with that being said, you didn't call me an agent. Now, if you're saying that's what he meant by calling him an agent, we done with the conversation. If that's all he meant, that Dr. Ben was a false teacher, then fine. I'll go back and review it. But I watched it. He was saying Dr. Ben worked for the government. So my point was saying this: who would be more likely to work for the government, him or Dr. Ben? And as such, he probably shouldn't be saying that about another person, because in order to be able to cast aspersions on one individual, you know what they say about glass houses, and that's my point. And that's with all due respect. So again, if I have an organization that ties me to the government for the same reasons that B. Wash and the brother Google Scholar indicated, and then I turn around and call you an agent, Cap, that would make no sense, considering I have a business that inextricably ties me to the government for better or worse, tax purposes, for me to be able to go do what I want to do, etc., as you said, or this 501c3 where I want to be tax exempt, all those reasons, legit reasons. But it would still behoove me to keep my mouth off of another person. That's all I'm saying. And so, and that, to me, that go for General Yohana and all of us as it pertains to being a quote unquote agent, unless you got concrete evidence that says so. And that was the main point. I appreciate all the information you gave about what y'all do, because like I said, I promote it. I tell everybody, if you put something out saying what y'all got coming up, I share it. So that ain't my issue at all. My issue is casting aspersions on somebody else when you link to the same entity that you accusing them of being linked to. Not to say that you are an agent, but you still link to that organization. You still link to that governmental entity via those documents that you had to sign for whatever reason you signed them. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna go back to you, Cap, and I'm gonna have you close out. Then I'm gonna go to our brother Google Scott.
All right, I get what you're saying. And I understood the first time when you said what you said. Again, like I said, just on that just simply doesn't make sense to turn around and say that we have ties. I mean, just because we had to fill out some paperwork, that doesn't mean that we have ties, right? Like, for instance, what the example that Savio gave about the organization he once worked for, that's more so having ties because they're giving you money to run and operate in a certain fashion. We do not have any ties. We run the school the way Commander General Hunter say run the school. The government doesn't come in and tell the government ain't came to see me one single time and told me nothing to do. The general hasn't turned around and gave me an order and said the government said we must do this way and that way. It's never even came about. So we don't have any ties like what people are assuming that is taking place because we have a 501c3. You understand? And that stuff is again ridiculous to even think or even try to tie those two together. And again, um, I can't say what information Commander General Yohana may have on Dr. Ben because, like I said when I first started, I didn't hear any of that. I haven't heard that yet. Okay, so whatever you may have heard, you understand, I didn't hear it yet. And this is what I can say is that I haven't seen Commander General Yohana be wrong yet. And this ain't just saying that just because I'm in the organization or blowing smoke up his ass or something like that, just to be, pumping up the general. I just have not seen a prophet of God be wrong yet, right? And the same way, okay, like an agent, right? Al Sharpton. That man is an agent, is an informant. He works for the government. He is, employed by them to do what they tell him to do. You understand? When things happen in the hood, they call Al Sharpton and they send him out there, right? Because he is an agent. He works for he has ties with the government. We do not. We are not attached. We don't have anything to lose. You understand? From what people are assuming, Commander Junior Hunter went up against the government himself. He turned around and sued the government for them trying to take away our right, our freedom of speech, and he won. I know that man is a prophet of God. You understand? Y'all can say what y'all want about a 501c3 and a status, and we got ties and all of this and all of that. Man, the way we operate is we operate. You understand? Under the Most High in Christ. Okay, not the government. The government doesn't come into my school that I'm in charge of here and tell me anything to do. Commander Junior Hunter does. And like I said before, I understood the question. It just made no sense. You understand? And a lot of brothers just be coming with their feelings and their emotions about how they feel about the truth. You understand? And the different lies that they were told in the Christian church. You just cannot get from. I know it hurts you. You understand? I know you brothers are hurt because the Christian pastor has lied to you and molested you.
Yo,
And,
yo,
and
yo,
I ain't
yo, yo,
saying
yo, yo, yo,
I
yo,
ain't
yo,
I
yo,
ain't
yo,
saying that
yo,
they
yo,
molested
yo,
you.
yo, yo,
You
yo. No one
understand?
is
But
finna sit here and go
personally,
through that.
but
Stay with me
but
up.
I
Stay
ain't
with me up.
saying
Let you do that.
I ain't saying that they
Let
molested
him
you.
finish, man. He closing out. Cap, wrap it up, man.
Yeah, when I said you, I wasn't saying anybody in general on the panel. So if you thought I was saying you got molested, Savio, that wasn't towards you. But I'm saying, I know you hurt because you done got molested by the pastors and they done robbed your mothers and they slept with them and all kinds of stuff these preachers have done. You understand? But what you cannot do is you cannot hold the Bible accountable for the lies that the preachers have told on it. We got the truth. If you want to, if you could listen, you understand? And I know that that is a problem that brothers have, which is listening.
Hold up.
You understand?
All right, can I
So
go?
if you could
30 minutes.
listen,
30
what
minutes.
you can't even listen now. You steady interrupting.
Cap, I need you to wrap this up, man. Come on.
I'm almost done.
Okay.
I'm about to land my plane. You know what I'm saying? At what they say on Clubhouse, I'm about to land my plane. Yeah, but again, man, like I said, if you willing to hear, you understand, we can have some discussions and some dialogue, and I'll show you where the pastors lied at, and we can clear all that up, and maybe you can be free from that, and then actually tune in to what the Bible says, and actually serve the Lord and not yourself. And I'll close with that.
My man, Cap 10K,
All right, can I go?
is
Because I've been.
officially the longest winded person I've ever met. Salute to my brother. Go ahead, say.
All right.
Damn right.
Because I'm not gonna be as long as him. I'm gonna read a couple of things and I'm gonna say a few things and I'm gonna close it out. So first I want to say no one's angry at no pastors, no one's angry at the church, no one's angry at the Bible, no one's angry at no invisible God. No invisible God. I want you to understand that. What it is we understand the truth, which you think you know and you don't know. What we understand is that you have co opted a story that has enslaved our people. All right. And with that, I'm going to read the things I'm going to read, and then I'm going to let the others go. All right. And the first is coming from Destruction of a Black Civilization, Chancellor Williams. And it's going to be just two quick paragraphs, not even one quick paragraph. Other invaders found penetration easy under the banners of religion. Full advantage was taken of the fact that Africans are a very religious people. First came the crescent flag of the prophet. The Islamic advance was three-pronged: proselytizing missions claiming one brotherhood, widespread intermarriages and concubinage with African women due to the Muslim system of polygamy, and forceful conversions at Spore Point. The cross of Jesus Christ followed the Muslim crescent. The cloak of Christianity was a most convenient hiding place for those who had other designs, hence the drive to convert. Conversion here meant far more than conversion to Christianity. As in the case of Islam, it meant changing to the white man's image, his ideas and value system. The real object of worship turned out to be neither Jesus Christ nor his father God, but Western man and Western civilization. Christian Brotherhood, well, yes, in principle, or to be practical, you blacks can have all the Christian Brotherhood you desire among yourselves. All right. Now, my next is going to be a poem by Mary Baraka. When we'll worship Jesus. We'll worship Jesus when Jesus do something. When Jesus blow up the White House or blast Trump down. When Jesus turns out Congress or blast or bust General Motors to Yardbird Motors. Jesus will worship Jesus when Jesus get down, when Jesus get out his yellow Lincoln with the built-in cross stained glass window and box with black people's enemies. We'll worship Jesus when he get bad enough to at least scare somebody. Cops not afraid of Jesus. Pushers not afraid of Jesus. Capitalists, racists, imperialists not afraid of Jesus. Shit, they making money off of Jesus. We'll worship Jesus when Mao do, when Torre does, when the cross replaces Nkrumah's star. Jesus needs to hurt some of our enemies. Then we'll check him out. All that screaming and hollering and wallering and moaning, talking about Jesus, Jesus in a red check velvet plus 8-inch heels. Jesus pinky finger got a goose egg ruby, which actually bleeds. Jesus at the Apollo doing splits and helping bite and trick niggas. Jesus with his one-eyed self. Tongue kissing Ted Cruz up the behind. Jesus needs to be busted. Jesus needs to be thrown down and whipped till something better happened. Jesus ain't did nothing for us, but kept us turned toward the sky. Him and his boy Allah too need to be checked out. We'll worship Jesus when he get a boatload of AK-47s and some dynamite and blow up Abernathy. And blow up DeSantis, roboting for golf. Jesus needs to be busted. We ain't going to worship nobody but niggas getting up off the ground. Not going to worship Jesus unless he just a tricked up nigga somebody named outside his race. Need to worship yourself before you worship Jesus. Need to buzz Jesus plus check out his spooky brother Allah while you heavy on the case. Because we ain't going to worship Jesus. We ain't going to worship Jesus. We ain't going to worship Jesus not till he do something. Not till he help us. Not till the world get changed. And he ain't. Jesus ain't. He can't change the world. We can't change the world. We can struggle against the forces of backwardness. We can change the world. We can struggle against ourselves, our slowness, our connection with the oppressor, the very cultural aggression which binds us to our enemies as their slaves. We can change the world. We ain't gonna worship Jesus because Jesus don't exist except in song and story, except in ritual and dance, except in slum-stained tears or trillion-dollar opulence stretching back in history, the history of the oppression of the human mind. We worship the strength in us. We worship ourselves. We worship the light in us. We worship ourselves. We worship the warmth in us. We worship the world. We worship the love in us. We worship ourselves. We worship nature. We worship ourselves. We worship the life in us and science and knowledge and transformation of the visible world. But we ain't going to worship no Jesus. We ain't going to worship. We ain't going to legitimize the witches and devils and spooks and hobgoblins, the sensuous lies of the rulers to keep us chained to fantasy and illusion. Sing about life. not no Jesus. Sing about revolution, not no Jesus. Stop singing about Jesus. Sing about creation, our creation, the life of the world, and fantastic nature. How we struggle to transform it, but don't victimize ourselves by distorting the world. Stop moaning about Jesus. Stop sweating and crying and stomping and dying for Jesus. Unless that's the name of the army we building to force the land to finally change hands. And let's not call that Jesus. Get a quick consensus on that. Let's damn sure not call that black fire muscle no invisible psychic dungeon, no gentle vision straitjacket. Let's call that People's Army or Wapinduzi or Simba Wachanga. But we not gonna call it Jesus and not gonna worship Jesus. Throw Jesus out your mind. Build the new world out of reality and new vision. We come to find out what there is of the world, to understand what there is here in the world, to visualize change and force it. We worship revolution.
And let the crowd say, Ashe. My man, Google Scholar, go ahead, bro.
I just want to say, Sabio, I gotta give him his props on that. He's real good at reading those poems. He got real passion in it. I think you should try to record yourself reading those poems because that was good. All right. Back to the point. The brother seems to be a believer, so now I kind of understand where he's coming from, right? He basically can say that that the general or that ISUPK would be more likely to be an agent. He keeps saying they're doing this and they're not an agent, but I think he's missing the whole point. The point is not that they are agents. The point is who is more likely given the scenario. And he keeps saying they have no ties to the government, which is not true because they do. Because ISUPK has a 501c3, and as stipulated by a 501c3, there are certain things you can't do. For example, General Yahana cannot go to his members and say, you need to vote for Joe Biden in the upcoming election or vote for Trump. If he did that, that would be a violation of his 501c3 status, and they could revoke that, and he doesn't want that. So that is somewhat of a leverage in a sense. So that is being beholden, and that is putting up that against someone like Dr. Ben, who didn't have an organization, who didn't have any kind of thing like that, where they have to be mindful of what they're doing, so that the government don't come and take it away. So if that's the standard, then it's clear that it's the one that has something to lose who would be more likely to be the agent. And he also made a point of saying, well, they couldn't be agents because they say many things against the government. That too doesn't make sense because the First Amendment of the Constitution guarantees you as a citizen of the country to have freedom of speech, and and it forbids the government from taking action to curtail your freedom of speech, and you can actually take them to court if you feel like they're doing something to take away your freedom of speech. So you can say pretty much anything against the government of this country as long as you don't cross a certain line. All right? So when you say they talk against the government, that's nothing. Anyone who is a citizen of this country can do that, regardless if they have a 501c3 or not. So that is not even a point. The point is, if you do a certain thing, you can lose that status. And I'm almost sure that the general doesn't want to lose that status. So if of the two, he would be the one that we're closer to being an agent. Not saying that he is, but That's basically it. Thank you for hearing me out and for letting me on, man.
I appreciate
I
you
hope you.
coming on, man, and I appreciate the support.
All right. No problem, man.
All right, Black Line.
Very well said, Google Scholar. Very well said. You hit it right on the money. And you notice that that Cap didn't even address the rules that they're under. So I'm glad you brought that out and you gave a very good example. So that is the difference, and that is the outline of Bianchi's argument. That's the very essence of his argument. So I appreciate you breaking it down the way you did. Now, me myself personally, I wouldn't just call them agents because they get a tax exempt. Their affiliation runs way deeper than that. You also repeat everything the Europeans tells you and says. You repeat terms like Paleo Hebrew that came from a white Jew. You repeat terms like Semitic and Hamitic that came out of Germany and is a part of scientific racism. Yet you repeat these terms and you tell our people that these terms apply to them. Those things like that is the actions of an agent trying to make us bow down to the same God as the European is something that is the activity of an agent. Telling us about Jesus when a slave ship was named after him is something that an agent would do. Telling us to follow a God concept that was handed to us by slave masters is the action of an agent. Nothing that in that book, nothing about that book or the creation of that book or the origin of that book you can point to our ancestors having anything to do with. Nothing. Nothing. You can't even say you were a power base for that religion. That religion became powerful under the Romans, not under no Africans, not under any Israelites, not under any Judeans. It became powerful and worldwide under Europeans. The very King James Bible that you possess was translated by over 40 different Europeans. 40 different Europeans had a hand in the translation of that book. Yet you have a problem when we say this concept comes from Europeans. Constantine being black, King James being black. None of this that you can prove. None of this that you can show. Yet you permeate our community with this rhetoric. The same rhetoric that the Europeans have been pushing on our people for over 400 years. You say no one listens to you. We've been listening to you since the Jim Crow era because you call yourself a Hebrew. So we've been listening to you since the Jim Crow era, and nothing has changed. Our people are still in last place. You still have our people looking in the sky, waiting for a million black people to come flying down to save us, and none of this has happened. Now I know that this hurts, and I know that knowledge and academics is killing you right now, and that you feel like you have to lash out, and you feel like you have to pop out your chest because you get a certain feeling in a certain position under this particular religion. And so it makes you feel a certain type of way. And you don't want to give up that feeling. I understand that. But the truth of the matter is, your religion and your God concept has done far more damage to our people than good. It might be working for you. It may make you feel special and have you in a certain special position within the organization. And you may not have had that feeling before. I don't know. I don't know your life, but I know that's what you have now, and you're putting more value on that feeling than getting the truth to our people. And this is what has to change. We have to come out of religion and come out of dogma that was handed to us by the enemy and walk into knowledge. We're not asking you to follow any other God concepts. We're not asking you to praise Africa. We're asking you to educate yourself and learn about the information that we're trying to share with our people. With that being said, I want to say peace. Thanks, Bianchi, for having me on. Peace to the panel. I appreciate it, all of y'all. I appreciate the information that you brought. And I hope we can do this again. Hotel.
Hotel. And with that, family, I appreciate those who stayed with us this entire almost 3.5 hours. Appreciate the panel. Appreciate Captain K for coming on. He heard his leader name. He came on, defended him as he should. Much respect for that. And, for those who say what they will about Cap and other members of the ISUPK, he 10 toes down. So you can't do nothing but respect it. Again, I think because Cap came on to defend what was being said about Commander General Yohana, we got focused on that particular element of the conversation. But again, the name of the show was exposing the hypocrisy and arrogance of Bible believing, some, not all, some Bible believing Christians and Hebrews. And we talked about several things that we've seen and experienced from both groups. So I don't want to make it seem as if we was just focusing on CAP and ISUPK, because we talked about some things that we feel our Christian brothers and sisters need to do better or stop doing at all, as it pertains to not only those of us who call ourselves a part of the conscious community, but just period. Again, that's that old idiom, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. You're not perfect. Nobody is. And so no one's spiritual tradition is the end all be all. No one has to follow what you follow. And so once we get that through our head, we'll be all right. And if you're going to bring academia to a spiritual belief conversation, then you have to bring all of those academics. Don't talk about the historical elements and then try to add on the fanciful, the fantastic elements along with it. Like you can't walk two paths. Just like they say you can't serve two masters. You can't walk two paths. So with that, I just wanted to make it clear this wasn't an indictment on the ISUPK or on the Hebrew community. I'm talking about arrogant and hypocritical Bible believers on both sides. Everybody like to put their mouth on the quote unquote conscious community and the concepts, beliefs, and ideologies that we come with, and things that certain people in that community or this community have been accused of, as if that's a reflection of the entire community. But when the shoe on the other foot, don't nobody want to own that. If I mention a Hebrew who been in trouble with the law, been accused of a particular thing, that ain't got nothing to do with us. If I mention a Christian apologist that's done some damnable things to women and children, they ain't got nothing to do with y'all. Or a pastor, that ain't got nothing to do with the overall church. Then don't put what somebody else did on all of us. You judge us according to what we do and what we say, and we'll be all right. Give us the same respect we give you. If I have people of all walks of life in terms of belief and ideologies on my channel, and I let y'all come on here and do y'all thing, and I show you respect as long as you black and you're not doing nothing that's detrimental to black people, then give me the same respect I give you. And if you can't do that, then this ain't the channel for you. Period. And I'm standing on that. That's what it is. Because I give people too much respect to tolerate disrespect of any kind from a Christian or Hebrew for any reason. And that's what it is. So with that being said, family, we out. I appreciate y'all. That's peace.
Peace. Holla at you in the
Peace.
morning.
Peace. Be safe, y'all. Hotel.